Okay, I think we're finally in business. Guys, I apologize. Day two, and I've been having some problem with the voice piece. Even though I took the time to test everything out, it looks like okay, some stuff just doesn't want to work. So it's a learning experience, as I said yesterday. So today, guys, I apologize. I can finally start talking. Day two. I do see we have five people here. Today, I have an interesting guest. She currently lives in California. She will be joining us shortly. She's going to talk about cruise and stuff. Doesn't want to work. So
Hi, Daddy.
it's a learning experience. Because our channel is primarily about travel, we will be doing a lot of traveling. But before, I was talking earlier, which was not being broadcasted properly, is
Currently lives in California.
the
She will be joining us
the
shortly. She's
Maldives. So a lot of these countries started offering packages for those remote workers where you can go spend the time and work. Maldives just jumped in the bandwagon, and looks like if you're rich, you have lots of money to spend. You can have an amazing view with great internet connection, and you can do your work. So I was reading that on CNN. I thought that was funny.
started offering packages for
And
those remote workers.
next thing I want to talk is Air Canada. is offering an unlimited pass,
Maldives just jumped in the
which
bandwagon, and looks like
gives you the
you're rich,
flexibility to
you have
go
lots of
wherever you
money
want,
to spend.
and the price seems to be a little
You
bit
can have an
ridiculous.
amazing view
I
with
was reading
buildings
earlier
and
you had to pay
connections,
something
and you
like
can do your work. So
2,800
I was reading that on
or
CNN.
$5,000,
Said that was
and
funny.
it's good for a month,
And
2 months.
next thing I want to talk is Air Canada
People that are working,
is
I don't know
offering an
how we can
unlimited
make use
pass,
of that, and those who are
which
not working, I'm
gives
sure
you the flexibility
you
to go
cannot
wherever you
pay
want, and the
that
price
much
seems to be
money.
a little bit
So,
ridiculous. I was
um,
reading earlier, you had to pay something
considering
like
that anyone collecting
2,800
CERB and stuff, I don't think it's a
or
great idea to
$5,000,
be
and it's good
traveling right now.
for a month, two
Happy
months.
Friday. I know I have quite a bit of
People that
people.
are working, I
I'm
don't know how
sorry
we
that I have
can
to
make
jump
use of
between
that.
multiple
And
screens,
those who
guys.
are not working,
Still getting
I'm
familiar with
sure
my
you cannot
applications
pay
here. So
that much money.
I'm currently
So
seeing 7 people. So
considering that
without further
anyone collecting
delay,
CERB and
let
stuff, I
me
don't think it's a great
dial
idea
my
to travel
my
right now.
my guest today.
Happy Friday. I know I have quite a bit of people. I'm sorry that I have to
So
jump
let me
between
bring her
multiple
in right
screens,
now.
guys. Still getting familiar with my applications
So
here.
guys,
So
anyone here
I'm
listening
currently
today,
seeing seven
if you're
people. So
seeing or hearing any
without
echo
further
issues,
delay, let me dial
please feel free to let me know
my guest today.
so I can look at it. Because yesterday we spent a good half hour before we actually got to the
So
matter
let me bring her in right now.
with the world traveler.
So guys,
Okay, so I'm gonna bring
anyone
in my
here
guest
listening today,
in the next 30
if you're
seconds.
seeing
So
or hearing
just
any
bear with me
echo
here.
issues,
Join.
please
Okay, so
okay,
this
so
is where I
this
have
is
to
where
now
I have to
go
now
and
go
fiddle
and
around
fiddle around
and
and
get my guest to join. So
spend a good half hour
let
before we
me
actually got to the matter with
RT. So
with the world
she
traveler.
currently
She
lives in
currently lives in
California. She's gonna
California.
talk
She's going
about
to talk
her
about
journey
her
about
journey about
YouTube and
YouTube and
traveling and all
traveling and
the
all
cool
the
stuff that
cool
she
stuff
does.
that she does.
And
And
she happens
she
to
happens to
be our
be
good
our
friend's
good
wife.
friend's wife.
And we
And we
coincidentally found
coincidentally
out that
found out that
we're both
we're
on
both
YouTube.
on YouTube.
She's been doing
She's
it for
been
a
doing it
while.
for a
I've
while.
been doing it
I've
for
been
two
doing it for
years.
2 years.
We're not
We're
comfortable
not
talking to
comfortable
family
talking to
members
family
about it,
members
so
about it, so
we'll get into
we'll
that.
get
So
into that. So
just bear with me
just bear
one
with me
second.
one
I'm gonna
second.
bring
I'm
her
gonna
in.
bring her in.
I put the
I put the
description for her
description for her
channel
channel
in the window. If
in
you
the
guys
window.
go
If you guys
read
go
the
read
description
the
link,
description link,
please make sure to
please make sure
go
to go
and
and
subscribe to her
subscribe to
channel
her
and show your
channel. Show your
support.
support.
You know what? Let's
You know what?
get
Let's
right
get
into it.
right into
So
it.
hang on
So
one
hang on
second. I
one
gotta make
second. I
sure
gotta
I'm
make
gonna
sure
screw
I'm
this
gonna
up.
screw this up.
So
So
I
I
want.
want
I'm already hearing echo,
RT,
which is not a
which
great
is not a
thing.
great thing.
So
So
RT.
please make sure to go and subscribe to her
Okay,
channel.
so
Okay,
she
so
will
she
be
will
popping
be
up
popping up
hopefully
hopefully
anytime now.
anytime
So
now. So
hey
hey
RT,
Arthi,
thank you
thank you
for
for
joining me
joining me
this
this
Friday. So
Friday. So
uh,
uh,
you know
you
this, we
know
already
this. We
talked
already
about it.
talked
This is
about
my
it. This is
day
my
two
day
of
two
doing
of doing
something
something
crazy like
crazy
this
like
where I
this, where
invite
I
a guest
invite a guest
to come and
to come
talk
and talk
about what they
about
do.
what they do.
Yesterday I got a
Yesterday, I
crazy
got a
guy who
crazy guy
traveled
who
like
traveled like
65 plus
65 plus
countries
countries
and speaks
and
multiple
speaks multiple
languages, and he's an
languages, and
actual
he's an
prof
actual
at a
prof at a
university. So
university. So
anybody here
anybody here
interested, go
interested,
see my
go see my
playlist.
playlist.
But right
But
now,
right
I'm gonna
now,
let
I'm gonna let
Arti talk
Arti
about
talk
her
about her
channel, how
channel,
she's
how
been
she's
doing
been doing
YouTube,
YouTube,
and what's
and
her
what's
goal
her
for her
goal for her
channel in the
channel
next
in the next
year, two
year,
years,
2 years,
5 years,
5 years,
and so on.
and
So,
so on. So,
Arti, you go
Arti,
ahead.
you go
I'm
ahead.
just
I'm
gonna
just gonna
go mute so
mute
that I
so
don't
that I
create any
don't create
problems.
any
So,
problem.
please go
So
ahead.
please go ahead.
Thank you, Madan, for
But
having
right now,
me. Hi,
I'm gonna
guys.
let
My name is
Arti
Arti.
talk
I just
about her
recently
channel,
started my
how
YouTube
she's been
channel
doing
just about like
YouTube,
6 months ago.
and
So,
what's
what
her goal
triggered me
for
to
her
start
channel
is
in
that
the
so
next
me and my
year,
husband, we are
2 years,
originally from
5 years,
Toronto and we just moved to
and so
California
on.
in
So,
2018.
Arti, you
So, when
go
I
ahead.
moved here,
I'm
my
just
husband,
gonna
like this,
go
me and him, we
mute
have
so that
never
I
been
don't
to
create any
California
problems.
before.
So, please
So,
go
this is
ahead.
our first time move. Of course, there's a huge difference in cultural, weather, and overall, right? It's a huge difference. So this is I started I pretty much started the channel just to have a view of from Toronto versus Toronto of the probably California, like seeing in different places through my eyes. So I've been wanting to do that. My husband actually told me, I should start it back in 2018. But starting a YouTube channel is something huge, right? I have never thought about it before. So when we went on the cruise, he gave me the GoPro as a gift in 2019. I'm sorry, Christmas. So I'm like, okay, let me vlog it and see how, if I like doing something, then I vlogged it. Then I'm like, okay, I got into editing it. I'm like, you know what? This is not bad. Let me start this. So pretty much that's why I started my YouTube journey. And so far it's been struggling hard, but I like it so far. I'm enjoying it.
Okay, well, you brought the word struggling. I know you just started recently, so I talk about my journey. I've been doing this sort of like full time or part time, if you want to say, for the last 2 years. And if you look at my subscribers, I've seen people starting after me. I don't know how they do it. They just pound through it, and there's one lady. She just reached a million subscribers. So when you look at that, you wonder, am I doing something wrong? But then you also have to realize everybody is different, and their growth could be different, and yours could be totally different. And you may pick up later, but you may blow someone else. So it happens. I learned to accept that it could be a slow process. You just have to keep on doing it. So far, from me watching the videos, I absolutely love your cruise stuff. A guy like me who never been on a cruise, my wife never been on a cruise, we watched the videos and we were like, whoa, this is crazy. So right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play a tiny bit of your tour of the Norwegian cruise that you guys went. After that, what I want you to do is when I stop is talk to me about your experience about your cruise, and when did you guys go? If you want to talk about pricing, I absolutely welcome that. So any other details you want to give, you go for it. And those who are watching here, if you guys are already part of my channel, go to the description, find Arkin's channel. It's pretty good. She has some great content. Make sure you guys subscribe. And if you guys have any questions about cruises or whatever she's doing, she does fashion and a bunch of stuff. Post a comment, and I'm pretty sure she will respond very promptly. Okay, so right now I'm gonna attempt this. I'm gonna hide you, and I'm gonna play your cruise. So just bear with me, guys. Okay,
Good
right now you
morning,
guys
today
are
is day two.
I know I think
We
you
are
can't see
at
much.
sea today for the whole day, so we're watching right now at 7:45. We just got up early just to look around and see what's just to explore the other docks. Because last night it just got dark, so last time we weren't able to see some of the stuff they had. So stay tuned, we're just heading to
We didn't actually get up early. I got up early and I woke her up.
well, I was just like, well, he got up at 6:30, I got up at 7.
Unfortunately, I
Same
can't
thing.
afford it.
So we're just going for breakfast. Let's
a
see
totally
what's
different
available
thing.
right now.
We have 8 people and one light. Can you please make sure you raise the lights?
I think the breakfast is at 6:07. We're on 11. This is on deck 6 right now, and this is where the guest service, onboard credit, and the rest of them are. And we're just heading towards the.
I don't see any
This
chance.
is the morning view. Doesn't she look amazing?
Okay, so I'm just gonna stop it now.
You'll see a little bit of
Let me bring back pause this, bring it back.
Okay, Arti, so I know you probably didn't see it. I was just showing you guys walking around, and then when your camera was panning or going, showing the water. Tell me your experience with this cruise. I think it's the first time that you guys ever went on a cruise yourself. So walk me through it. Think about somebody like me who have two kids, and I always fear. My fear is the cruise ship drowning, and then, in Titanic they play the violin, and I always picture that, and I don't want to do a cruise. So what do you have to say for somebody like me and some of the listeners here who contemplate the idea? Walk me through it. Tell me more what you guys did during this cruise.
So pretty
My
much
fear
what
is
triggered is like we had
cruise
a
ship
bucket
problem,
list.
and
So cruise
if
was
I
on the
can't take
bucket
anything
list,
violent,
right? So when
and I
we moved
always
here, we
picture
got the
that,
opportunity or
and
like to go on
I
a
don't want to
cruise.
go on a cruise.
I'm the
So
type of person, I'm
what do you
terrified of
have to
heights.
say for
Like I
someone
can't stand heights.
and some of the
I,
listeners
the
here
cruises being
who
drowning. I actually watched YouTube videos before getting on the cruise, how to survive if a cruise were to go down.
what you guys
I
did
watched
during
so
this
many
cruise.
videos, which I should be
My
watching
fear
what to do on a cruise.
is
I watched videos of just to get over my fear. We actually got an insurance, just in case if I were to cancel the cruise, so we don't lose our deposit and stuff. So I actually got that fund going. So when we got on the cruise, so I watched all the videos and I was so paranoid about seasick. I don't know if you get seasick. Like how does the person know if they get seasick, right? So I'm just like, what if I get seasick? 7 days I'm going to be being sick, right? So that was paranoid about a couple things: drowning, seasick, and just like fight not getting like enjoying the whole what I'm supposed to do. So when we got on the cruise, it was the first time. We have no clue again. I should be doing my research around what to do, but I was more into like, for example, doing what I should, other stuff. Also, when we got on the cruise, they also had a flu that was going on. So, they were taking extra precaution. So that also paranoid me too about eating and washing my hands. I was literally carrying sanitizer. Pay and we paid extra for the cruise had a lot of entertainment. Like you won't be bored at all. You don't even need to have your own itinerary. They give you the itinerary like every day, what's happening around the whole, like each of the deck, like people that are like, you have kids Madan, right? They have different entertainments for like younger kids versus teens versus older crowd. They had like deal or no deal game going on and couples games. So it was the cruise, like I was so overall happy with the entertainment. You can be bored. You would think like you're in the middle of the ocean, like what if there's nothing to do? What would you want to do? But this was like it was pretty good. They had all the entertainment. I think you guys should check out the Disney cruise for your kids. I'm pretty sure. I think you went to Disneyland before, right? So I think you guys will like the Disney cruise. I heard a lot of good things about it. People that we met, they said they had their kids go on it. They really liked it and stuff.
Arti, you gotta forgive me, okay? Second day in a row where I'm having trouble with
Sorry, I
volume,
can't hear you.
so I'm watching the chat. Um, a lot of guys are complaining about no volume, so whatever you said, I think we just caught it at the last minute. Again, I would like to apologize. Usually, I have a gang of my followers that come on early to test, and we go through this process. But today, for some reason, even though I see 8 people, uh,
I can't hear him. Sorry.
You know,
Can
I don't
you?
have my regular crowd to feed me information. So guys, continue typing. If you see any problem, please bear with me. I'm sorry. Yesterday I put the guy for half an hour in talking literally in mute, and then today
Tom,
I
we
find
can.
Artie's
I
having
don't
the
know if
same
the
problem.
audience can
But I
look
think I
onto
got the
the.
game, so at least the remainder of
It's
the
gonna echo.
conversation should be fine. So I see somebody right next to her, so I want to talk about him very quickly. So that's Arul. He's a um, she can't hear me. Abiram Surendra. What do you mean by she can't? Meaning, oh, you know what? You should be able to hear
You
me
should be able
now.
to hear me
So
now.
sorry.
So sorry.
Um,
Um,
Okay.
um,
um,
I'm losing my track.
I'm
So
losing my
I want
track.
to talk
So
about
I
quickly
want to
about
talk about
Arul.
quickly
Okay,
about Arul.
Arul
Okay,
was one of
Arul
my
was one of
groomsmen
my
for my
groomsmen
wedding.
for my
My wife
wedding.
knows him
My
well.
wife
I
knows him
know him
well.
well.
I know him
He's in
well.
the picture.
He's in the
So
picture.
Arul,
So
I'm just gonna
Arul, I'm
say,
just gonna say,
this is
you know,
nothing
this is
to do with
nothing
travel,
to
but
do
I
with
know you're a
travel, but
guy
I
who
know
grew up
you're
in
a guy who
Toronto and
grew
then
up
you
in
moved to
Toronto and then you
California.
moved to California.
You guys are enjoying. I
You guys
see
are
a video
enjoying. I
every
see a
week where
video
you're
every week where
watching
you're
all this
watching all this
beaches and stuff.
beaches and stuff.
In a month
I
we're
in a
gonna be
month we're gonna
wrapped up
be
at home. We're not
wrapped
gonna
up
do
at
anything.
home. We're not gonna
Even
do anything.
already as it
Even
is, we're
already
home.
as it
So
is, we're home.
I'm gonna mute
So
myself. I
I'm gonna
just
mute
want you to
myself.
tell me
I
your
just want you to
transition
tell me
going
your
from
transition
the
going
weather
from
system here
the weather
to
system
Sunshine
here
State,
to
where
Sunshine
you're
State, where
probably
you're
never have to worry about wearing a
probably never have
jacket.
to
So
worry
if you
about
want to
wearing a
talk to
jacket.
me
So if you want to
briefly
talk to
about it,
me briefly
please
about
go
it,
ahead. Guys,
please
again,
go
I'm
ahead.
gonna mute
Guys,
my
again, I'm gonna
audio,
mute my
but if you
audio,
don't
but
hear
if you
Arti,
don't hear
please do
Arti,
let me know. I
please do let
appreciate
me
Abiram
know. I
and
appreciate
whoever
Abiram
else
and
here that's
whoever else here
typing in.
that's
That's really helpful for
typing in.
me.
That's really helpful for
And
me.
keep chatting,
And
guys. I want to
keep
hear.
chatting, guys. I want to
If you
hear.
guys have any questions,
If
feel
you
free to
guys have any
ask.
questions,
And
feel free to
again,
ask.
usually I
Usually
go
I
on
go on
and
and
yak and
yak
I
and
get
I
a
get
lot
a
of
lot of
likes.
likes.
Today
Today
I'm
I'm
seeing
seeing
one. So
one. So
all of you
all of you
here, I'm
here,
pretty
I'm
sure
pretty
you
sure
can
you
hit
can
that
hit that
like
like
button.
button
And I'm
and
gonna
I'm gonna
check
check
Artie's
Artie's
channel
channel
later.
later.
If
If
any
any
of you
of you
here
here
is
is
not
not
subscribed,
subscribed,
I
I
encourage you
encourage
to
you to
do
do
it.
it.
That
That
will
will
help
help
all of
all of
us
us
here.
here.
So
So
I'm going
I'm
on
going
mute.
on mute.
Go ahead,
Go
Arul.
ahead, Arul.
Yeah, so when we first came down, we actually went to the Northern California. We didn't actually come to the Southern. So we actually stayed at Sunnyvale. So that's like near San Francisco, if you can think. Um, to be honest, we hated it there. It's the weather wasn't that great compared to like we're making a huge drastic move all the way Toronto. We're missing our family. We're missing our friends. We're missing our childhood. We both grew up in Toronto.
The milestones, right?
Yeah.
Party, like birthdays, weddings, like small things.
And the
Like
Tamil people. There's a lot of Indian Tamils there, but we're missing the actual Sri Lankan Tamils, the people that we
and
grew
the
up with,
food.
the culture, and the diverse culture that it's like you have Asians, so many different Italians, Portuguese, everyone in Canada. And then when you move down to Sunnyvale or San Jose, where we initially started, it's mostly Mexican, and then there were. It's like a patch of Indians, I guess, Chinese, and then
It's just that where we when we moved here, like we didn't really like we were stuck on work. So the area wasn't. I wish that we did our research prior to moving, just because like we couldn't come and check out the north or the southern California before. So that's the thing we regret, right? We wish we would have. So when we went to the north, we actually took a trip down to the southern California, LA and San Diego. Like we loved it. We were just like, this is the California we expected,
so one thing about the Northern California is there's not so many beaches. You got Santa Cruz, you got a couple of beaches by the San Francisco area. It's an hour away from where we were residing, but to be honest, it's cold. It's I think the time we went was wintertime, and then we were hoping during the summer it'll probably get better, but it never did. It was actually more breezy and whatnot. And some people did like it at the Northern California because there's no humidity, there's like that cool breeze or whatnot, but we weren't feeling it. So that's why we made the choice to actually move down to the Southern California, which is where we're residing right now, which is Irvine. It's part of the Orange County, so it's near LA, and but everywhere you go, it's really nice beaches. And we haven't even explored all the beaches out here. There's so many. And then, yeah, the weather is so amazing. And the people here are very similar to Canadians. The culture here is super friendly. They're very outgoing. they have that party vibe. Whereas in Northern California, it's more like a work vibe. It's like, I don't know if you guys been to New York and whatnot. You get that mentality of work, 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 work. Whereas that's what I noticed in Northern California. Whereas if you go to Southern, it's more like a party, kind of like relaxing vibe that we got.
Yeah, people were even there's like people that are more like like Toronto's known to be like pretty nicest people around and stuff like that. So people we noticed like people are super nice around here. It's unfortunate that we're not able to explore more during the summertime. LA because of the illness that's going on. A lot of the places were shut down, like food trucks. The music and entertainment industry is pretty much it's not there anymore. So we were hoping to do a lot of that explore during the summer, but we're still making it. I shouldn't say summer, like the hot sun season. There's only 2 seasons, right?
Yeah.
We have like rain and the sun. So pretty much we're still into the sun. It's really nice, hot, and outside, right? You guys probably heard about the fire. So the air quality is pretty bad right now. So we tend to go out just on like once a couple of days just to explore. Other than that, like we're home and yeah.
Yeah, apart from that natural disaster, I think this is a perfect place to live. And also, I forgot to talk about Northern California. The cost of living is extremely high.
Ridiculous.
It's like your minimum wage has to be like what? If you're making below 100K, you're poverty, basically. That's what we were like, holy cow, we can't survive there because we're trying to start a new family and whatnot and start a whole new kind of like path in the American world.
Just moving here, right? So this was really tough. Like, so pretty much when we moved here, we seen the worst and we're living the best, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Like rather than because when I moved down here, my coworkers and stuff, right? They used to message me like, "Hey, I bet you're sitting down, you're chilling by the beach and drinking, and doing work." I'm like, no, like literally took a picture of the huge rain. So the winter time, I think when we moved, it was like raining so badly, it was super cold. Yeah. I took a picture of the outdoor. I'm like, this is my view from my house. Like, they're like, what? And they send me their snow. She was in Toronto, so she sent me like the snow day. I'm like, no, this is not any better. I'm not sitting by the beach. Then I'm like, what are they talking about? When we moved here last winter, it was like rained 2 days? Yeah. And that's it. Like it was like we were at the beach. Literally, we would just go and chill at the beach on evenings, on weekends and stuff, and just like read a book and just enjoy the view.
Yeah, we can't hear you, mother.
Sorry.
Sorry.
So just to add to
what you guys were saying,
I'm gonna drift away
I'm
from
gonna drift away from traveling a little bit and go
a little personal.
personal. Okay, so between the two of you,
I see
sometimes Arti filming it, and then sometimes I think Arul, you're behind filming it.
This
YouTube endeavor within our community, a lot of people tend to laugh, make joke about it. You really sometimes feel like, oh my god, you hide from people. Like especially in my case, I'm still hiding from a lot of people. So
you guys
tell me about what your experience, because I know Arti, you're pretty much out there. I see you blasting it on Facebook, Instagram, and I see Arul doing the same thing. And surprisingly, Arul and I were part of the same WhatsApp group. I don't know too much people from there. I don't say a word, but I see him
sometimes just putting it out there. So I want to hear from you guys.
I want to hear from you guys a positive experience or negative experience. What you feel, and what do you tell people like me who are still afraid? I don't know if I'm doing good, but I get good feedbacks. But I'm still scared because I'm afraid of my family and friends judging me, saying, "What is this crazy idiot doing? Hosting this
you know what I mean?
Blah blah. You know what I mean?
I want to hear from your perspective.
I want to hear from your perspective just to see
your experience is like.
Your experience is like.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna always get these people who are gonna be nagzaggers, who are just gonna say, "Oh, don't do this; it's a waste of time," and all of that. To be honest, we're just doing it for fun. It's I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I feel like they're sharing a lot of knowledge that I was like, "Oh, hey, it would be really nice if I was there," or kind of create that experience. And we're trying to create it for the people that really want to see. One, they want to go on a cruise. How would it feel like? Or two, hey, how would California be from a Torontonian or from our perspective, our point of view? And if people, I mean, there's always going to be people who are just going to say, "Oh, don't you have anything better to do?" their business. You just kind of like move on and then kind of do your own thing, right? If yeah, those you have to.
Yeah, when I started it, like he's been bugging, he's been literally telling me to do the YouTube when moved here. I told him it's like huge, right? You know, Madan, right? Doing like something friends, like just doing something for fun, just with him, just videotaping and doing a concept video for your wedding. It's not that, right? This is pretty much part of your life. Like literally everywhere I go, my GoPro's there. Like even if I could leave my wallet nowadays, I check my purse. Do I have extra battery? Do I have SD card? It's a huge life, right? So I told them like I have my mindset out there for criticism and people commenting, right? Even my parents were just like, "Are you sure you're out for this?" Because people are gonna comment, right? Mother, people are gonna say negative things. They're not gonna like your videos, right? They'll be like, "Oh, you suck," or like, "Oh, you forgot this. You spelled this wrong. You said this name wrong," right? Like, of course, people are gonna make comments about it. So I have to it took me a while to get that through my head. If I'm gonna put out there, I can't be sitting. Oh my gosh, like this is someone commented my outfit sex. Someone said, "Oh, you pronounced this word wrong," right? Because I'm still learning, exploring new places. So if I say something wrong, I have to make sure that I have to get ready to hear all of that. And by talking about like family and stuff, I pretty much when I started, I just literally just sat there like almost for 2 hours, just sending it to all the friend, family, second cousin, third cousin, the people I met because like I'm very like outgoing. I talk to a lot of people. Like I usually growing up, I usually went to my family, my dad's friends' the kids' birthdays, and I'm usually the person, in our culture, like we have to go to family friends and anything like that. I'm the person that people my parents dragged along. So I know people and they have me on Facebook. And so I literally sat there and messaged them, "Hey, I started this." So surprisingly, a lot of people were like, all my family and friends, they were like pretty supportive. They shared on their, my first video they shared it on their Facebook, Instagram. They gave me shout out. They gave me ideas, like friends and cousins, like, they gave me ideas. "Hey, do this." And we talk about my video. They're like, "Oh, I really like outfit you over and your hair looks nice." They say good stuff. I don't know if people are not telling me the bad stuff. I'm pretty sure, like, they think I did get criticism, for example, like, "Oh, you're not getting a lot of views, you're not getting, a lot of subscribers," right? Whereas people that started after me, like you said, people do start later and they're like beating me or like almost like past 500 subs. And I'm sitting here with like, what, 105, 106 subscribers. So, people do say that I just learned to take it. They're not looking at it from our perspective. I'm pretty sure when you travel with your kids, right, you make sure their stuff is ready and you have your like GoPro and your camera and all of that ready. That's like something you take before. So I think my perspective going out has changed. That I actually enjoyed doing this, like behind our camera. So if I take it, most of the cruise, he took some of them because, like I said, I'm scared of heights. So he would go over and do nice views just because I'm scared to go there, or we'll take turns. So I think as long as you just have to put it out there, like people are gonna say what they want to say. I don't even know how many people even enjoy my videos. If they don't, God knows. So
So I got her kind of involved into this whole YouTube space. Uh, I, I think a lot of people don't take it, they take it for granted how so much work is going behind the camera. One, we're taking a lot of videos. I think Aarti's been taking a bunch of videos, and then the editing itself is probably an hour, 2 hours minimum. And then it can stretch as long as it can to make it as good as the work. And from time to time, she's actually learning to make it a better place. And that's the appreciation that we're trying to say that, hey, we're putting all these efforts, and one day we'll probably get there soon. And it's just all hard work and effort and whatnot.
Quickly.
Let me
So,
quickly. So,
just
just
adding a few
adding a
points to
few
that
few points to that is
some people are
some
naturally
people are
shy, man.
naturally
You could
shy,
be
man.
like
You
the
could be like
underground
the
guru,
underground
very good at
guru, very
something,
good at
but then
something, but
you're
then
still afraid to
you're still
be in the
afraid to
limelight.
be in
Even
the
though it could
limelight.
be
Even
positive
though it could be
limelight, some
positive
people may take it
limelight,
as
some people
negative
may take it
limelight.
as negative limelight.
It's not easy,
It's not easy,
Um, I said this
I
yesterday too,
said
and I
this
said it
yesterday
before
too, and I
too.
said it before too.
Brinda is like, why don't you just
Brinda
go
is
on
like, why don't you
Facebook and
just
put it
go
in?
on Facebook and put it
I'm
in?
like, no, I'm not ready
I'm
for
like,
it.
no,
She's
I'm not
like,
ready
why?
for it.
So I'm
She's
like,
like,
I give
why?
her so
So
many
I'm like, I
reasons.
give her so many
At
reasons.
first, I said, let me hit
At first, I
100
said, let me hit
subscribers. Then
100
I said, let me hit
subscribers. Then
200
I said, let me
subscribers,
hit 200
300, 400.
subscribers, 300,
Now I
400.
think I'm
Now I
500
think
and
I'm
change,
500 and
but I'm
change,
still not
and I'm
ready.
still
She's
not
like,
ready.
why?
She's like,
I'm like,
why?
I don't
I'm
know.
like,
I
I don't
think
know.
I'm still
I
not
think I'm still not
ready to come out of my
ready to
bubble.
come out of my
But
bubble.
for someone like
But
you who's
for someone like
already
you who's
out,
already
I
out,
know
I know
how crazy it can be when you
how
watch
crazy it can
your
be when you
view
watch view
counts, your
counts, your
hours, your
hours, your
subscribers.
subscribers.
And I think,
And I think,
Aarti, you and I,
Arati,
we
you and I,
talked
we
quite a
talked
bit
quite a
privately
bit
about
privately about
I'm
I'm
always on this
always on
phone
this
checking
phone
at,
checking at,
if I
you know,
release a
if I release a
video,
video,
I'm like
I'm
an
like an
addict,
addict,
constantly
constantly
checking,
checking,
okay,
okay,
how many
how
views,
many views,
what's the
what's the
what's the
what's the
comments like?
comments like?
You
You know, you
want your
want
video
your
to
video
take
to take
traction, but
traction, but
sometimes,
sometimes, you know,
it depends. Some videos
it
have good
depends. Some
wave and they
videos have
continue to
good
have
wave and they
good
continue to
feedback,
have
but some
good feedback, but some
just dies off.
just
And
dies
right
off.
before you
And
go
right before
live, we were
you
talking
go
about it, and
live,
you
we
said,
were
oh,
talking about it, and you
none of
said,
my
"Oh,
videos
you
hit
know, none of my
200 or
videos hit
300. I can't
200 or
remember the exact
300. I
numbers.
can't remember the exact
I said,
numbers."
don't worry about it.
I said,
And
"Don't
the
worry about
classic
it."
example
And
is,
the
I said,
classic
I have
example is,
videos
I
that are
said,
two
"I have
years old
videos that are
with
2 years
9
old
views,
with 9 views,
8 views,
8 views,
but
but
there's a lot of
there's a lot of
metrics that goes
metrics
behind,
that
like
goes
changing your
behind, like
titles,
changing your
finding the
titles,
right word,
finding the right
so
word, you know.
in the
So
beginning I didn't pay
in the
attention,
beginning, I didn't pay
and I don't know
attention,
how
and
you
I don't know
do
how
your
you do
titling and stuff,
your
if you guys
titling and
do
stuff, if you
good
guys do good
research on the words and stuff.
research on the words and stuff.
um
Um,
it
it
bottom line is, it's
bottom
very
line is,
different
it's very
for
different for
each person, is different how we
each
do
person is
things.
different how we
So
do
I
things. So
I encourage it.
I
I just
encourage
keep
it.
telling you,
I just keep telling
you're
you,
doing great.
you're
It's
doing
just matter
great.
of
It's
time.
just matter of
And
time,
for
and for oh,
time for some sales pitch.
time for some sales pitch.
How many viewers do I
How
have
many viewers
here
do I have
watching us
here
right now?
watching us right now?
Um,
Um,
we got. Oh, sorry guys,
we
just bear with me a second.
got. Oh, sorry guys.
Wow, I got
Give me a second.
10 viewers. So
Wow, I got
everybody
10
that's on this
viewers.
call
So
right now listening in,
everybody that's
I
on this
thank you
call right
guys
now listening in,
for joining in
I
and
thank you guys
supporting us.
for joining
I
in and
put
supporting us.
the my
The
guest
my
who
guest,
her name is
who her name is
Aarti. Her
Arti,
channel
her
is on
channel
my
is on my
description,
description.
and when
And
this
when
video
this video
ends, I'll
ends, I'll
promote her
promote her
as a
as
featured
a
channel.
featured
So
channel. So
I would
I would
appreciate if you
appreciate
guys
if you
can
guys
drop
can
by,
drop by,
subscribe to her
subscribe to
channel,
her channel,
watch her videos. If you have any
watch it, be
questions, comment.
questions, comment.
We
We
appreciate it.
appreciate it.
I always
I
say
always
this:
say
you don't
this: you
grow
don't grow
alone. You need
alone. You need
full
a
community
full community
support to
support
make this happen.
to make
And
this
I know
happen.
I have a
And I
very
know I
good
have a very good
community that I'm
community that
part of,
I'm
and I'm
part of, and
hoping
I'm
that
hoping that
some of you
you can
can showcase
showcase your
your
love
love and
and
affection
affection
to
to
Aarti.
Arti.
Um,
Um,
I will
I
keep an
will
eye.
keep
I
an
don't know.
eye.
I
I don't know.
forgot
I
to check
forgot to
her
check her
subscribers, but
subscribers,
I
but
will
I
check
will check
at the
at
end
the end just to see how
her
her
subscription
subscription
level is like.
level is like.
Um,
Um,
Continuing
continuing
with the line
with the
of
line of
travel and
travel
this,
and this,
I
I
apologize.
apologize.
Earlier
Earlier we
having
were
some
having
audio
some
issues, so
audio
some of
issues,
the
so some of
stuff
the
that
stuff
Aarti was
that
saying
Arti was
was not
saying was
properly
not properly
captured. But
captured. But
I want
I
to
want
listen
to
from
listen
you
from
and
you
your
and your
husband.
husband.
What is the
What
goal
is the
for
goal for
you
you
and
and
Arul when it
Arul when
comes
it
to
comes
this
to this
channel?
channel?
Let's say
Let's
for the
say for the
next
next
year, the
year,
next
the next
5 years. I don't
5 years.
know
I
if you
don't know if
guys
you guys
put
put
into
into
put
any
out
put
any
out any
thoughts into
thoughts
this,
into
but
this, but
what do you
what
want
do
to
you want
see?
to see?
What is
What is
your
your
goal?
goal?
So my goal is to travel the whole state in US and do a blog about it. So we only been to two states so far. We've been to Seattle and I've been to Vegas, pretty much. That's the only two states, pretty much. I personally traveled
California.
on California, right? Northern stuff. That's about it. My goal is to travel and just to do a blog about each because I think I only been to New Jersey and in US. I don't think I've been to New York. I don't think I've been to New York. Have you been to New York?
You've been to Boston.
You've been to Boston for work purposes, but like not like, as a tourist, right? So my goal is to travel all the states here and do a blog about it and just to see what I see. Of course, I'll do my research before going out, do like part ones about it. And if I were to go during the summer versus winter, well, that's my other goal. And also, I've been to like Mexico and other places before. The unfortunate thing is I didn't blog anything. We've been to Jamaica too. That's like a really nice place. Like we were actually planning to go to Jamaica like by this year, but it's unfortunate we are not able to travel. That was in our list, right, for this year to go back and kind of go explore the whole place. So I was going to blog it, but that's on our list. That's for me to do. And also there are small things that we haven't explored it in California, right? Personally, like restaurants and clothing stores and stuff like that, which I haven't done. I feel like I wanted to expand from that view. That's about it. That's what I have so far. Like year or 2 year goal would be to travel the state, do vlogs about it, and if I'm able to do international, do the international. Yeah, that's about. What was your goal, Madan? Like, what is your like channel? What would be your
So my
So
goal, which was an
my goal,
undercover goal,
which was an
where
undercover goal, where Brenda as my wife, didn't approve any of
I'm like,
this.
let me
I'm
start
like, let
this,
me
watch
start
me grow
this, watch
into
me
thousands of
grow into
subscribers,
thousands of subscribers, and
eventually making money
eventually
is an ultimate
making
goal.
money is an ultimate goal, right?
So 2 years
So
later, I'm
2 years
here. I
later,
am sitting.
here I am sitting.
Uh, I think 500 and
I
change,
think
and
500 and change, and
struggling.
still
So
struggling. So
um, as
um,
long as I have a goal
as long as I have a
and I
goal
know what I'm working
and I know
towards,
what I'm
I'm
working
extremely
towards,
happy.
I'm extremely happy.
Uh, if you
Uh,
guys hear the echo, let
if
me
you guys
know.
hear the echo, let
Just
me
stay
know.
safe
Just
traveling.
stay
Well,
safe traveling. Well,
somebody just commented
somebody just
here, which is
commented,
Cone, which is a
which is
good
Cone,
buddy of
which is a
mine.
good buddy of mine.
I highly encourage everybody
I
to check
highly
his
encourage
channel too.
everybody to check his
It's
channel
featured on
too.
me.
It's featured on me.
Um,
Um,
I lost my thought, but
I
for
lost my
me
thought, but
was
for me was
capture, put it out
capture,
there,
put it out there,
and if
and
nothing comes out of
if
this
nothing
channel,
comes out of this
I don't
channel,
care. Well,
I
I
don't
shouldn't say I don't
care.
care
Well,
because I
I shouldn't
really
say I
care
don't
a
care
lot.
because I really
But
care a lot.
if
But
nothing comes out,
if nothing comes
fine.
out,
At least I have some
fine.
great
At least I
memories
have
that
some
are
great memories that are
part of this channel, and
part of
then
this
hopefully
channel,
my
and
kids
then hopefully my kids
watch it later on
can
and be
watch
like,
it later on and
well,
be
he had a
like,
crazy dad who
well, you had a
was,
crazy dad who was,
doing some
doing
and
funky
also
stuff.
funky
you
stuff.
I was thinking, like, it's kind of like a diary, right? When you go to places, everyone's so into like taking pictures and videos, right? I'm pretty sure, like, when I go to the beaches, everyone's literally doing selfies. I'm like, I will take a picture of me doing this. I will take a picture of me doing this. Now we're pretty much just vlogging it, right? It's like a memory. Like when I went to all the beaches, I'm like, oh, let me, instead of videos, I have the whole vlog and it's on my YouTube, right? Even for your family, right? You travel with your kids. Pretty much your channel is where you went. So it's something like you can look up to, hey, I remember on Thanksgiving, this year I went here, like, going through this. And then even for me, when we go through the cruise videos, I'm like, oh, I will remember there's this funny guy that was doing this. So like, that's kind of like reliving those moments, right? Like for you too. Like, I think I look at it from that view. It's more like it's more like a keeper, like you can always look back and enjoy the day and kind of sit with your family, like for your kids, like, oh, my dad like took us here, like look at us like being funny and silly, right?
You're on mute, Madan.
Oh, um, uh, I'm gonna repeat because you guys didn't hear me. Um,
Can you hear
sorry.
us?
Okay,
Sorry.
so
Madan,
Okay.
I
So
said it's very bad to
I
have a
said it's
drink
very
and try
bad
to
to
do an
have a
interview,
drink and try to do
especially
an
when you're
interview,
horrible
especially
at
when you're
what you do.
horrible at what you
This is
do.
bad. But before
This
I
is bad.
forget,
But
I want to
before I
touch
forget,
something
I want
else.
to touch something
I
else.
thought of this idea as
Thought of this
inspiring
idea as
stories. I
inspiring
personally think
stories.
that what
I
you guys are
personally
doing is
think that what
inspiring.
you guys
But
are doing is
before I
inspiring. But
forget, I want to ask you
before I
something
forget, I
else.
want to ask you something
What do you
else.
guys use
What do you
for
guys
your
use
shoot?
for your
Okay, in
shoot?
my case, I have
Okay,
a
in my case,
camcorder,
I have a
I have a
camcorder,
GoPro,
I have a
and like you
GoPro,
mentioned
and
earlier,
like you mentioned
whenever I
earlier,
start
whenever
driving,
I start
Brenda keeps
driving,
saying, my wife
Brenda
keeps
keeps
saying I'm
saying, my wife
crazy.
keeps saying I'm
I have
crazy.
this
I
dash
have
mounted
this
camera.
dash
I
mounted
have this
camera.
with me. She's
I
like,
have
what
this
are you
with me.
doing?
She's
Why
like,
did you
what are
do
you
this? I'm
doing?
like,
Why did
well,
you
I
do
could
this? I'm like,
run
well, I
into
could
something really
run
cool
into
and I want to
something
be able
really
to
cool
capture
and
it.
I want to
So
be able to capture
it
it.
became
So
a craze
it became a
that
craze
point. So
that
you
point. So
guys, I
you
wanna I want
guys,
you to take a few
I
minutes and
want you
talk
to
to me
take a few
about
minutes and talk to me about
what gears you
what
guys use,
gears you guys
what
use,
editing software
what
you
editing
use,
software you use,
and the reason behind
and
why
the
you
reason
went with
behind why you
what
went
you
with
use, and
what you
then
use, and
any
then
pros and cons that
any
you
pros
think
and
that
cons that
you
you
want to
think
work
that
in. I know
you want to work.
you
And I
were
know
using
you
your
were using
mic,
your
which I
mic,
caught
which
on
I
watching
caught
one of your
on
videos. So
watching one of your
talk to
videos.
me
So
more about
talk to me
your
your
editing
editing
software and
software,
your
your
gears. I want
gears.
to
I want
hear
to hear
more.
more.
Yeah, so to be honest, what you shouldn't really matter as long as your content is really good. That's one thing that you guys should all get around this. It shouldn't be matter what the type of gears or how expensive your gears are. As long as your content is really good, that's what you want to strive for. And when Nati started off, I think I got her the GoPro 8, the Black Edition, um, only because I wanted a really high quality. I didn't want it to be 4K, so I set the setting to a 1080. But the stabilization and all of that, uh, the thing that comes with GoPro is so much features that it's a good bang for your buck kind of thing. And then later down the road, we found out, hey, her audio is not that great. And audio really matters a lot. So you got your camera, as long as you got a cell phone camera or even great lighting and audio, all three of those three is what you need to start a huge, nice vlog and possibly get really huge off it. I've seen so many YouTube videos who they just started off with VCR camera, like a really shitty camera, but they have really good content. And that's what I want, like Aarti, to kind of strive for.
And the mic we got,
yeah,
it was Roto, right?
Yeah, so the mic that we're using is a wireless Roto 2. It's a little bit expensive. The quality of it, it's really good because we don't want to get a shotgun mic, only because she'll be first vlogging herself. She'll do a selfie, and then she'll turn on the camera and start talking about the scenery that she's seeing. So if you get a shotgun mic, you have to know the limitations of it. So if you switch the camera to the other directions, you're going to be audio-less. So that's why we got the wireless mic that goes on top of the clip. You probably saw it in a couple of shoots. Couple of things that you got to mind is when you do anything towards that mic, it picks up. So if you move your...
In the hair, right? Usually, like with my hair, I'm like going like this, and then when I'm editing it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm literally talking, so I have to cut it out and then do that. Yeah. And the whole reason I got the mic is because all the videos are outdoors, right? At beaches and stuff. So I'm trying to talk over people. So they're just like, it's like I got comments saying that, we can't hear you. Like, it's not like I'm putting the background music. It's like too hard. So I'm like, okay, even though I may not say something, but I still wanted to be able to point out little details. I think you commented, Mother, in one of the videos that trees were so cool how they're like facing this way because, I thought that was too cool too. So like I wanted to point it out. I don't want to say it afterwards. So that's the whole reason about getting the mic. And I got a ring light just because I shoot some of the videos indoor. I realized the GoPro wasn't the greatest. Like the lighting was, even though it was very...
So yeah, that's the thing about GoPro. You can't shoot at night. The aperture is really low that if you shoot at night, you're going to get really noisy, kind of like really bad, unquality, unusable kind of like camera quality. So the other camera that I have, so there's two cameras. I have the GoPro Pro Black for the outdoor vlogging stabilization. And then I also have the 50D Canon Mark D. So the reason this is my old camera because I used to be into photography a lot. And I got that camera to start off. And then I was going to go to a 5D Mark III, which is really expensive. So what I did was I started up with the lenses only. And then I swapped I was going to go ambition into photography back then. But then that kind of got all scrapped away. So we're using that camera. The only problem with that camera is it has no stabilization. So if you're walking and holding the camera, it shakes like crazy. And one thing that you might have noticed, I don't know if you posted it, but one of the videos, she would be walking and it'll just give you a headache if you're watching a YouTube video just like that. And it's really bad content. And I don't think you actually posted that.
That was a Rodeo drive. So what I did, I took clip from his. I had the GoPro, so I took like that's the thing about like editing, right? I took some of his clip that wasn't shaking a lot. I kind of put it in between, so it kind of goes with the flow. Like I had to do that. It was really bad. And for the camera, he only had the lens. I was able to focus a lot. What is it called? Long lens. And now we ended up getting like a used like lens just so that I can shoot like videos of like try on clothes or like any other like other videos stuff I can do from home. That's pretty much it. Ring light, camera, lens, and GoPro on the mic.
This is the camera. 60D. It's very tiny. The lens that I got is a prime lens. They're really cheap. As in, I think this one was like
used, right?
Yeah, this one was a used one. I didn't buy brand new. It's a really tiny $80. Was it 80 or 50?
Yeah, $80, I believe.
So it's a pan prime lens. So what the good thing about this is a 24 mil. If anyone's wondering, it's a 1.6 aperture. The good thing about this is it's really good on when you get that blur effect in the background.
It's focused on me, like so I'm still learning all of that because Arul had to teach me all of this. I wasn't into camera, so like shooting my own video. I probably noticed one of the video I set at the blur to be above me, so my face was kind of blurred. Everything behind me was kind of focused. All this is like pretty much trial. Like I shot the video at nighttime, so I didn't realize because when I uploaded to edit, I'm like, oh my gosh, why is it blurry? So I had to like check. I'm like, oh, is it blurry? Because like I had to like I wear glasses. So I'm like, is it just my eyes? I had to go back. So small things, right? So usually I ask him to help me set it up, but I'm also learning too, where I'm sitting down, I point it out there, right? That's another.
So the downside about this lens is it's a 24 mil. That means it's fixed at 24 mil. That means if I have the camera here and she's here, if she moves a little bit forward, she's fully blurred. That's the biggest downside of this. Because I have the aperture so low, that means if the aperture is so low, that means it does a really nice blur on the background, and then the front will look crisp and sharp. But the minute they start moving, you get a unstable thing. So if you wanted to get it all crisp and nice, everything will be kind of like sharp, and you won't get that nice blur effect. One good thing about this camera is that the LCD kinds of points out, and then you can start looking at it. So when you're vlogging, you can just hold it and kind of see yourself in the LCD, and then vlog that way. So you have the camera kind of like pointing at this, and then you're holding. But one thing that she didn't like is it's heavy.
I'm so used to GoPro, right? So compared to my GoPro, this is like, I don't want to walk around with this, even walk around with the GoPro. Like, the funny part is during the cruise time, like, that was me first time back from the cruise. People are like, are you from Hollywood? Am I going to be on TV?
Yeah.
So we got a lot of like, people are like, oh my gosh, am I going to be on TV? Like, are you from Hollywood? Just because when you say you're from California, right? Oh my gosh, you're from Hollywood. Like, are you making a movie? Like, are you a director? I'm like, no, I'm a YouTuber. I'm like, oh, so what is it called? Like that time, I don't.
So that's the type of connections that we have. Whenever someone asks us what's it called, we try to get them in. If it's strangers or anyone, these are people that you're going to keep interacting with, and they're good influencers too, right?
Yeah, because one of my cruise video, one of the dining, we did have one of her from Stephen and Maggie. Like, we just met them on the cruise because we literally how we met them is like we were sitting out, how they teach us in case of anything, how to get on the boat to get off. So I was already paranoid, the being in first hour, they're teaching us in case of emergency, how to get off the boat. And I'm like looking at faster ways to get to the boat because I don't want to be left behind, like Titanic, putting the kids and girls first. I'm like, how do I jump on the bed? So I was like so focused on that. We were sitting with them. They're like, oh, I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, us too. So, we were so into like listening. I was like, okay, all right, we have to come through this year. Make sure to jump on this boat, right? All of that. So we met them. He said he wasn't part of the video. He's like, yeah, I don't mind being on your video, just talking about like other stuff. So a lot of people were pretty out to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even when I go and here being California, everyone's a YouTuber and blogger. So literally, when I went to Beverly Hills, literally everyone's like vlogging. Someone's doing some tricks on the bike, and like, he was on a scooter doing some crazy thing. So literally everyone just talks to themselves. Like, how I'm talking to myself, like people walk around. So this is kind of like a norm in LA, right? Everyone's into, fashion, models. Like when I got dressed up to go to Beverly Hills, I thought he was like, oh, why are you overdressed so weird? And he sees girls with high-end clothes, fully dressed out, just doing a photo shoot, just like how the camera out people are changing in. I'm like, see, I'm like, welcome to LA, role. This is like, it was crazy. So people here, like, they were just okay with it, whatever. But the cruise was funny part. Like, I was already awkward, and I'm like going like this, and people are like, hi, like, I don't know. You saw it in one of the videos. People are pretty awkward. How is it there, Madan? Like I don't think I vlogged in Toronto. Like, how are people when you do, like when you have your GoPro or anything like that? What gears do you use, like when you do outdoor shoots?
I missed your question, but I want to ask something. I did not plan to have my kids interrupt me. I thought I was very clear saying keep them, and somehow my daughter latched on, and she was here for the last hour, and now I got the trouble three. So
Before I forget, I was watching one of your videos where you're walking down the step of stairs, and then this one guy just literally puts his hand and he's doing something. You guys were playing the background music, but if I was you, I would have let that voice, whatever he was saying, come in the audio because looks like you wanted to have some sort of fun, right?
Oh, he didn't say anything. He just like blocked it. Like he thought it was funny because he thought he was videotaping me going down, like, cause literally, right? He sees two people going down, and I'm like going down the thing. So he was just like trying to block it with the ball. Like you didn't say anything, right? He said anything to you.
No, he didn't. I thought he was like, oh yeah.
Hey, and then kind of like, other guy was saying hi. He just wanted to block it and kind of give like, hey, like look at me kind of thing. And he laughed. I wish he would have said something. He didn't say anything.
No, he didn't say anything. That's the thing. The culture that we have here, it's so fun and outgoing. It's not like, oh, hey, you're doing vlog, don't get me in the camera. Some cultures, they'll be just like, oh, don't get me in the camera and delete it or something. Some people can be pretty thinking about it. But here, they're very outgoing. They're super,
No one really cares, to be honest.
I think they're used to the whole.
Oh, like people talking to themselves, and how is it there? Like I know when you go to falls and stuff, like I see videos like you're taking. Do people make any comments? Like I don't know how it is. We never shot any videos. I mean, we weren't bloggers. How is it there?
What? So
So
just my
just
personal
my
experience here
personal experience
is
here
I'm
is
still very shy.
I'm still
Okay,
very
I
shy.
would
Okay,
not
I would
be in a
not be in
large
a large
taking on my
gathering, taking
camera
out
and
my
doing this.
camera and doing
That will
this.
never happen.
That will never
I may
happen.
strap it
I
on my
may strap it on
body
my
and then
body
just record
and
it.
then just
That
record
I
it.
feel like I'm
That I
less.
feel like I'm
I'm
less.
more
I'm
private. I'm
more
not
private.
showcasing
I'm not
anything.
showcasing
But
anything. But
um,
um,
so there's so
so
many rules
there's
and
so many
regulations
rules and
around
regulations
filming
around
people
filming
and
people
being in public,
and
right?
being in public, right?
Um, I know
Um,
when you're out in
I
public
know
you
when
can
you're out in
film,
public
but
you
they
can
say if the
film,
face
but they
can be
say if the
seen, you
face
have to
can be
get
seen,
permission.
you have to get
There's so many
permission.
things, but to
There's
me
so
is
many
if you're
things,
in
but to
general
me is if
public,
you're in general public,
you're literally letting yourself
literally
expose.
letting yourself
That's
expose.
okay.
That's
And
okay.
one of
And
the worst
one of the
experience that
worst
I
experience that I
received
received
is I didn't share
is
with a
I
lot of
didn't
people
share
is
with a lot of people is
um, if
um,
you guys ever go through
if
my
you guys ever
channel,
go through my
the
channel,
biggest
the
video where I have
biggest
the
video where I
lots
have the
of view
lots of
is a
view
video of
is
a
a
model home
video
that I
of a
filmed
model
here in
home that I
Oakville.
filmed here in Oakville.
I think that has like some
I think that has like
50,000
some
views or something.
50,000 views or
To this
something.
day,
To
that
this
is the
day,
biggest.
that is the
That's the
biggest.
only video that
That's
brings
the
me the
only video
biggest
that brings me the
volume and the
biggest
hours and everything
volume and the
else.
hours. And
I went
I went
back
back
recently and I
recently and I
captured the
captured
five
the
newer model
five newer
homes
model
and I
homes
put it
and
online.
I
I
put it
was the first
online.
guy to
I was
do
the
it.
first guy to do
I'm
it.
telling you, my
I'm
hours were
telling you,
going
my hours were
crazy.
going crazy.
2 weeks later, I get
2 weeks later, I get an
email
email
from the this builder. I
from
don't
the
even
this
want to
builder. I
name the
don't even want
builder,
to name the builder,
saying they literally
saying
went
they
through all my
literally
videos
went through
and
all my videos and
found one where I
found
was
one
telling the
where I
viewers,
was
"Hey,
telling the viewers,
be
hey,
careful when you sign
be
up for
careful
this.
when you sign
This
up for
is
this. This is
tricky contract,
a
and you may
tricky
get in trouble
contract
and
and
blah
you may
blah
get in
blah."
trouble and blah
They
blah blah.
literally put
They
that
literally put that
in
as
a
in a
verbatim or whatever you want to call it.
verbatim
They
or
said,
whatever you want to call it. They
"This
said
is," they
this
use the word
is they use the
slandering or
word
something.
slandering or
"We're gonna sue
something.
you.
We're
You
gonna
have to
sue
stop
you. You
this.
have to
Pull all your
pull all
videos
your
out."
videos out.
I looked
I
at it. I
looked
was
at it.
like,
I
you know
was
what?
like, you know what?
Screw you.
Screw you.
When I
When
went, I
I
had
went,
my
I had my
GoPro like
GoPro
this,
like
and
this, and
everybody that I
everybody that I
interviewed during
interviewed
that
during
video,
that
they were
video, they
all
were
okay
all
to
okay
film.
to
So I'm like,
film. So I'm like,
there's the
there's the
proof that
proof that
you
you
agreed.
agreed.
And I'm like, I'm not
And I'm
taking
like,
this video.
I'm
And
not taking this
I
video.
was
And
mad.
I was
And my wife
mad.
comes to me
And my
saying,
wife comes to me saying,
"What are you trying to do?
what are you
What
trying
is
to
your
do?
goal with your
What
channel?"
is your
"Well, I
goal
want
with
to
your
build this,
channel?
blah
Well,
blah
I
blah."
want
I
to
said,
build this, blah,
"Well,
blah, blah. She
if
said,
you want to
well,
do this,
if you want to do
now you have
this,
a billion
now you
dollar
have a billion
corporation
dollar
who's telling you to take
corporation
down
who's
their
telling you to
videos
take down
because
their
of
videos because
one
of
minute where you said
1 minute
something
where you
negative
said
about that
something
company."
negative
She's
about that
like,
company. So
and
like,
sad part is in the
and
beginning she
sad part
told
is in
me,
the beginning she told
"Be
me,
positive about this
be
video. Don't
positive
say
about
anything."
this
I
video.
didn't
Don't
listen
say
to her.
anything. I didn't listen
Now
to
she
her.
goes,
Now
"Now
she
you're a
goes,
one
now
man,
you're a one
want to
man,
fight a
want to
billion dollar
fight a
company." She said,
billion
"You know
dollar
what? If I were
company. She
you,
said,
I'll
you know what?
just
If
take
I
all
were
those
you, I'll
videos
just
down."
take all those videos down.
So at
So
first I told her, "No,
at
I'm
first
not
I
doing
told her,
it.
no,
I
I'm
have
not
all the
doing it.
rights."
I
But
have
then
all the rights. But
overnight,
then
while I was sleeping, I
overnight,
thought
while I
about
was
it.
sleeping, I
What
thought
am I
about it.
doing
No,
with this?
what am I
What's my
doing with this?
future?
What's my
Is it
future?
even worth it for
Is it
me?
even
So
worth
I
it for me?
literally
So I
overnight
literally
had to.
overnight had to.
I didn't take them down,
I
but
didn't take
I
them
just
down, but
blocked
I
all that
just blocked
videos,
all that
and
videos,
I was so
and
sad
I was so
because
sad
those
because
videos were giving
those
me
videos were giving
crazy
me
views.
crazy
So
views.
going
So
from,
going from
I think I even showed
I
you a
think I even
snapshot.
showed you
I
a
had like
snapshot. I had
25,000
like
hours or
25,000 hours or
25,000 minutes
25,000
on one.
minutes on
Then
one.
overnight,
Then
I saw
overnight,
my graph
I
just go
saw my
down,
graph
down,
just go
down, down,
down, down,
down, and
down,
then it
down,
just
down,
kind
and
of
then it's just kind
back
of
to my normal.
back
So
to my normal. So
those things it hurts. You
those things
can't
it
do
hurts.
anything
You
about
can't
it.
do anything
And
about it.
if somebody
And
comes to you
if
openly
somebody
and say,
comes to
"Don't
you
put me in
openly and
camera,"
say,
like
"Don't
I
put me on camera," like
tried
I
filming in Costco
tried
and stuff.
filming in
Some people
Costco
say,
and
"Hey,"
stuff, some
and they
people
say
say,
it
"Hey,"
nicely.
and they say it nicely.
Please don't put this on the
Please
internet. We
don't
don't
put
want
this
to
on
be
the
on
internet. We
camera.
don't want to be on
Then
the
at
camera.
that point,
Then at
what do you
that
do?
point, what do
You
you
gotta
do?
respect
You gotta respect
their demand
their
and
demand
not put it.
and not put it right.
Um,
Um,
before I move, talk
before I
more, I
move
want to
talk
stop
more,
and
I
do a
want to
sales
stop
pitch
and do
again.
a sales pitch
8
again.
viewers here. I don't
Eight
know how
viewers
many likes I
here. I don't know
got.
how many likes I got.
If anybody from my
If
channel is
anybody from
here,
my channel
I
is here,
appreciate
I
you. I know a
appreciate
lot of the
you.
people
I
are
know a lot
here
of the people are
talking.
here
Usually I'm
talking.
very engaged
Usually
on
I'm
the
very
chatter, but
engaged on the chatter,
today,
but
because of
today,
this
because of
crazy
this
application that I'm
crazy
using to do
application that
this,
I'm using to
I
do
find
this,
myself
I
looking at
find
one
myself
screen,
looking at
two
one
screen,
screen,
and then
two screen,
everything
and
else is
then
going on.
everything
So
else is
I
going on.
may not
So
be
I may
responsive.
not be
I know
responsive.
Cone is
I
here. He
know
said
Cone
hi
is
to me
here. He
earlier,
said
and
hi to me
Valas
earlier. And
Classics. These are
Valas
people
Classics.
that
These are people
have their
that
own
have
channel
their
and they do
own
their
channel
own
and they
crazy
do their
stuff,
own
which
crazy
we
stuff,
support
which
each other.
we support each other.
I thank you all for
I
being
thank you
here,
all for being here,
and please check
and
out
please check out
Artie's channel.
Artie's
She's in
channel.
California
She's in
now. You'll
California now.
see
You'll
all the
see
craziness
all
that
the
she's doing
craziness
there.
that she's doing there.
I hope you guys can support her, and if you have any questions, leave her a comment and she'll get back to you guys. End of the day or end of the video, I'll make sure to put her link on it. And that's it for sales pitch. Now I want to come back and maybe sort of drift away from YouTube and stuff, even though this is our primary goal. I think you guys said you want to do international travel if it's possible. That's your goal. I know COVID-19 put breaks to a lot of stuff. So we're all stuck and we're trying to do local travels. But I'm not sure if Arti you mentioned, I'm paying attention while I'm looking at all this. If COVID-19 were to disappear tomorrow, what is your next international destination that you would go, and why would you go there?
No, I'm kidding. I think we would want to go. I really
Other than
want.
being Canada, right? Like Toronto's family, that's home. So
No, he's talking about actual travel. So I would no, I would say Singapore. I really wanted to go there. I haven't been there. I have so many compliments around Singapore.
yeah, we haven't been. I think we would do Asia, like because we've always
Even
been
China. To be honest, I was joking, but actually Shanghai over there because I'm in the tech. My background's tech, so I really want to know how the technology is great, and that's the Silicon Valley of
Eastern
Asia.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to check it there and see how they're actually making little gadgets and little stuff that they're doing out there. And I think, to be honest, China is going to be one of the world's leading countries, right? Next to USA. But they're going up there, definitely.
What about you,
That would be-
Arti?
I know you guys are a couple, but do you have any special preference of your own?
I wouldn't really want to go to China.
So this is the thing. Her view of travel is more like a museum, architecture kind of like thing. My perception of travel is going to a beach and lying down, like Bora Bora, Maldives, definitely. All of those places are super expensive.
Like I like that too. I would like, for example, like I love just going to museums and zoos and stuff. That's like I enjoy that. Like 50-50. For him, I just drag along. Even going to the mall and something finding fascinating, I'm like, oh, look how cool it is. He'll be like, oh, this is so boring. Like even at the ship tour, I was fascinated by small details, like how they was built and they had all the history. I was like sitting there reading, and he was like, we're pretty much late getting off to go to the port. I'm like, no, I don't want to come back here, right? Because I don't want to come back to the basement and delete all of this by myself. Like he's like, no, let's go. So I just quickly shot up the video, and I had to literally sit here and watch and learn. Oh, this is what it was. Like I didn't get time. So
even when me and my buddy went to Cancun, he wanted to go into the town and actually explore all the different places. I think he wanted to see that pyramid, whatnot. I was so bored out. I was like, holy cow!
I think people say opposite attract. In couples wise. So like I would say we're like the totally opposite in certain things. I don't mind going to the beach. I do want to spend, but I also do want to explore the town, like the Kauda, like going to small stores and finding little crafts and stuff. I enjoy those. So in that case, I would prefer to go to Asia. Like I don't mind Malaysia, Singapore. We would want to do something like that. That's something.
I want to ask the viewers, what kind of travel experience do you guys like? Do you guys like the beach? Kind of like you relax and enjoy like the hiking, adventurous kind of like exploration.
Oh, versus like getting to know the history, right? There's like three types, like leisure, like exploring, as in just like beaching and finding scenic views, versus getting to know
Team
where you're
Aro
from.
or Team Ati? How about you, Madan?
What are your thoughts like on this?
So,
touching on that is me and Brinda were the type were adventurous. We do not like to go to a beach. So we've been to Jamaica last year or 2 years ago. We sat in 7 days beach.
We felt so awkward.
We're not like that. Me and Brinda, when we plan a trip, she will crunch so many activities within a day that you leave home so early in the morning. We do as much as we can, and we come home and crash. That's our
I
traveling.
don't think
I
we're ready
don't think we're
to
ready
do
to
traveling where
do
you
traveling
go
where
to
you
like
go to
Maldives.
like
We've done
Maldives. We've
Maldives
done Maldives
for our honeymoon
for
trip.
our honeymoon
That
trip.
was different. That was
That was
nine,
different.
ten
That
years
was
ago,
nine,
right?
10 years ago,
We
right?
were at the nice
We were at the
hotel.
nice
Wake up in the
hotel,
morning,
wake up
have
in
your
the morning,
coffee,
have your
snorkeling and
coffee,
stuff like
snorkeling
that.
and stuff like
But
that.
if you ask
But if
me,
you ask
10 years
me
later with
10
two
years later
kids,
with
can you
two
do
kids,
that?
can you do that?
I don't think we're
I
ready.
don't think we're
We
ready.
are the type
We
get
are the
going,
type get
just
going,
pound through
just
whatever you
pound
can,
through
come
whatever you
home,
can,
sleep,
come
and the
home,
next day
sleep,
it
and the
starts
next day
all
it
over
starts
again.
all
That's
over again.
us.
That's us.
And then,
And
like you
then,
mentioned,
like
there's
you
a
mentioned,
crowd
there's
where
a
you want to
crowd
check out
where
the
you want to check out the
museum, you want to
museum,
check this,
you
you
want
want
to
to
check
check
this, you
that.
want to check that.
Unfortunately, I've been to nice
Unfortunately, I've
countries.
been to nice
I don't think I want
countries.
to go to
I don't
museum.
think I
I
want
don't
to
want
go
to
to
know your
museum. I
history,
don't want to know your
and
history,
and
and
I
and
leave all the
I
planning to my
leave
wife.
all the
She
planning to
knows
my wife.
my
She
taste,
knows
and
my
I know
taste,
she's
and I
good at what
know
she does,
she's
and
good
then
at
I
what she
just
does,
blindly
and then
follow.
I just blindly
That's
follow.
why
That's why
even this YouTube
even
videos,
this
when I
YouTube
make it,
videos, when I make it,
sometimes I'm clueless where
sometimes
I'm
I'm
at.
clueless where I'm at.
What am I doing? Why am
What
I
am I
here?
doing? Why am I
Whereas
here?
she did the
Whereas
actual
she did the
research. She
actual
knows the
research.
reason why we're
She
here.
knows the reason why we're here.
Whereas me, I don't know.
Whereas
So when
me,
I'm
I don't
doing
know. So when
my
I'm doing
vlogs,
my vlogs,
again,
again,
I still find myself to
I still
be
find
not that
myself to
great.
be
I
not
want to
that
be a
great.
good
I want to be a
storyteller
good
where I
storyteller
explain
where I
everything. I'm
explain
not there. I'm
everything.
trying
I'm
hard,
not there. I'm
but
trying
that's
hard.
because I don't
But
do any
that's
homework.
because
I
I don't do
rely
any homework.
everything.
I
I leave to
rely
my wife.
everything. I leave it to my wife.
Okay, we're in Croatia. Where are we
Okay,
going?
we're in
Zadar. Okay,
Croatia. Where are we
what's
going?
Zadar?
Zadar. Okay,
Oh my
what's
God,
Zadar?
sunshine.
Oh my
She
God,
can list a
sunshine.
few things,
She can list a
but
few
then when I'm
things.
doing the
But
video,
then when
she's in
I'm
the
doing the
background.
video, she's in
She's
the
usually not
background.
engaged.
She's
I'm like,
usually
I don't
not
know what to
engaged.
say. Oh,
I'm like, I don't know
Zadar,
what to
nice
say.
place,
Oh,
you know.
Zadar, nice
So
place, you know?
we're
So,
definitely adventurous.
we're
We
definitely
cannot
adventurous. We cannot
go nah no
go,
maybe
nah, no. Maybe
every couple of years take
every
with the kids.
couple of
If we go
years
as
take with the
families,
kids. If we go
we'll
as
go and do
families,
that, we're
we
fine. But
go
other than
and do
that,
that, we're
I will
fine. But
never
other
do
than
that.
that, I
And
will never
coming
do
back,
that.
I know you
And
guys
coming
mentioned
back,
China,
I know
so
you guys
we
mentioned
did
China,
Singapore,
so we
Malaysia,
did
so it was like
Singapore,
a combo
Malaysia,
because
so
it
it was like
was
a
so
combo
close to
because
each
it
other.
was so close to each other.
Singapore was
Singapore
absolutely
was
amazing. We spent
absolutely
a full
amazing. We
week.
spent a
I
full
think a week
week.
is enough for you to
I think a
travel
week is
wherever you
enough for
want. You
you
don't
to
even need a
travel wherever
car.
you want. You don't
We
even need a
took the
car.
train, did
We
everything.
took the train,
And
did
Malaysia
everything.
too.
And
The
Malaysia
train was
too.
so cheap,
Train was
like you will
so
laugh,
cheap,
and food
like you
is
would
so
laugh,
good
and
and it's
food is
cheap.
so good.
And
And
talking about
talking about
China,
China,
I
I'm
have a
I
little
have a little
obsession with
obsession with
China too.
China
It's
too.
so
It's so
huge and
huge
there's
and
so
there's
much
so
to
much to
see.
see.
And the
And
sad
the
part
sad part
is if you
is
don't
if
know
you
the
don't know the
language, it's
language,
hard.
it's
I know
hard. I
now
know now
gotten
it's
a lot
gotten a
better.
lot better.
When we
When
went,
we went,
I literally
I
had to
literally
Google
had to Google
everything, write it down on
everything,
the
write it
paper,
down on
and
the
then
paper,
I
and
will go
then
show
I
it
will
to them,
go
and they
show it
will
to them,
help
and
me
they
out.
will help me out.
I find
I
that to be
find
a
that to
little
be a little
difficult. It was
difficult. It
fun,
was fun,
but it was
but it was
difficult.
difficult.
Now with the
Now
kids,
with
I
the
won't do
kids,
it.
I
So
won't
for
do it.
me,
So for
China
me,
is on the
China is on
radar,
the radar,
but we have
but
good
we have good
friends who
friends
are
who are
Chinese. So
Chinese.
our
So
hope
our
is
hope is
down the road,
down the road,
we all take a
we
nice
all take
trip,
a
we
nice
go with
trip, we
them,
go
and
with
then
them,
they
and
will
then they
take us
will take
around.
us around.
Just like
Just
how
like
Sri
how
Lanka,
Sri
we've been
Lanka,
to Sri
we've been
Lanka
to Sri
so many
Lanka so
times,
many
we know
times,
how it
we know
is.
how it
So
is.
we offer
So
the
we
same
offer the
thing that
same thing
if you guys
that
want to
if you
join
guys want
us
to
in
join
that
us
trip,
in that
we'll
trip,
go
we'll
together
go together
and we'll show you
and
guys
we'll show
around
you guys
because
around
we know
because
the
we
language,
know
at
the
least
language, at
one of the
least one of
language,
the
so we can
language,
get
so we
around
can
it.
get around it.
So
So
um,
um,
that's it when it
that's it
comes
when it
to
comes to
those craziness.
those craziness.
Now,
Now,
do we stick
do
around
we
the
stick
line
around
of
the line of
traveling, or
traveling,
do I'm gonna
or do
drift
I'm gonna
away
drift away
from this
from
cultural
this cultural
stuff?
stuff?
Some
You
people
know,
say,
some
"Oh my
people say,
God,
"Oh
you're
my
getting
God, you're getting
old.
old.
Stop focusing
Stop
on the
focusing on the
traveling. Do this,
traveling. Do
do that.
this,
Have
do
your
that. Have
kids."
your kids."
Because
Because
brown people,
brown
believe it or
people,
not,
believe it or not,
we're
we
raised
are
in such a
raised in
way
such
that
a way
you have
that
a
you
time
have a
frame
time
to
frame
do
to do
every little
every
thing.
little
If
thing.
you go
If you
beyond
go
that,
beyond beyond that, alarm bells goes off, and you. So in your case, I know you guys are fairly young compared to me and my wife. What what do you get? Like I'm sure people must have told you, oh my god, go have kids. Stop. Well, how do you deal with that? How like I'm type that I sometimes I get pissed off when someone tells me, you and Arthi, how do you guys cope with these kind of requests that comes from your family members? I'm not saying it does, but I know a lot of them do. So
We never heard any. No, I'm kidding. I think
Yeah, we do hear it. Like they'll be like, oh, when we started, like, oh, it's like you've been married for, we just celebrate our 5th anniversary. It's time for you to have kids and stuff. I just learned to take, yeah, sure, and then just move on. Because like people don't know what each person's having their own story, right? You can't just assume and hey, like, yeah, it's fine. Like, how do you know that person's not trying? Like, how do you not know, right? People are like, oh, after a certain age, like, why aren't you married, right? I'm pretty sure. And right after you get married, like, oh, oh, you don't have kids. Right after you have your first kid, like, oh, you should have another one. There is no breather. Like, you just like take it in. You're like stuffed with. You're like suffocating, right?
It's not just kids. I think it's
That's
a
everything.
brown mentality-ish. And I'm not trying to be racist, but it's like, hey, you don't have a house. It's like, hey, why don't you have a house? Oh, look at Jaspreet. He has a house. He has 2 kids. Or it's like comparison over. Even when you were a kid, I think even when I was a kid, my mom will be like, oh, hey, how come you didn't get A plus? Or why are you getting A only? It's like, it's a non-stop comparison. And that's the cycle that you want to get out of. And like now it's got to a point where we just kind of like be like, yeah, that's right. You're right. We don't have kids. Yeah, you're right. We don't have a house, and we just move on. I think this comes down to like, how do you take input from other people, like negative, and you don't need those negative vibe near you. And the biggest one, like when we moved down to California, we got a huge breather because one, we're on our own. We're exploring a lot of stuff that we want to do. We like doing a lot of stuff that we do. I love the job that I'm doing. I'm so free here, and I think Aarti's loving it here, where she gets to do whatever she wants. There's no Brown family across the street that's telling us, "Oh, hey, I see Aarti talking to this other white boy or something." There's no judgment. It's huge freedom.
I don't know if you know Madan, like when we're in high school or like, when we're in school, literally, like I'll tell you the story. I was talking to my brother's friend or something like that at the mall, because I'm on the smaller side. So all the younger kids look bigger than me. So from a different perspective, it looks like I'm talking to a guy that's my age or older. So I was like talking to my brother's friend. I was just saying, hi, hey, how's it going? At Scarborough Town Center. So back in the day, stuff was like everyone's at Test DC. So before I got home, my mom got a call saying that, oh, your daughter is talking to a guy at the mall, right? So my mom's like, what? She's like, oh, I just walked by Walmart. Like, I see Aarti. I think it's your daughter. She was talking to a guy or something. Literally, my brother was there. I was just talking to his friend, right? So my mom's like, oh, you were talking to a guy? I'm like, what? And then my brother's like, oh, it was my friend. I just went to get something. She was just talking to him. I'm like, you see how, like, before I got home, literally, like, I think 10 minutes, like, you see how fast the news goes to my mom? I think it was your daughter. Even sometimes, like, when I go out with my brother, like, people think, like, people don't know him because he doesn't usually come out to any parties or anything like that. They think he's, like, someone, they don't even know he's my brother. The funny part is when I lived in Scarborough, like, one of the auntie thought my brother was my boyfriend because she only sees the back of his head because she sees us going out at nighttime, like, dropping him off at work or getting the cars and stuff. She said to my mom, like, oh, who's that guy? Because she thought my mom only had one daughter, one kid. And then she was like, when she moved out, she was like, oh, that guy, like, whatever. She's like, oh, my mom said I have a daughter and a young son. She assumed the young son is, like, small. But she didn't realize my brother and, my cousins are taller than me, bigger than me. So when my cousins come over, so I'm the small person and my other cousin is small too. So our brothers are really tall. So it looks like 2 guys are just walking us down. So there's been I don't hear, nowadays no one's going to say anything. I'm married, but, we don't have anything like this, something like that.
I mean, you got to think of it from their point of view, right? I think a lot of people are bored. When they're bored, they like creating dramas. Not to put them in a bad way or anything. It's just the nature of our brain, I guess. So psychologically,
that's how they are. I think back then too. Like,
not to say that I don't think we will probably be turning out that way too. We'll be like, oh, hey, who's that little daughter talking to this little other boy or not, right? So it's gonna happen no matter what.
I think it's just the phase we're in right now. We're just, like teenage. We're so
like if we have our own daughter, wouldn't you be like paranoid if she's talking to some other guy before her?
I get paranoid where who my brother talks to and stuff. I'm so overproductive like this. So yeah, I know it's even my like friends and stuff. It's going to come out. I don't know. How's it for you? You have 2 kids, mother. Tell us. How would you be?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, they're still fairly young. I started off thinking that, okay, my daughter can do this, my son can only do this, blah, blah, blah. But as time goes on, I learned to realize that, what, they are going to go out, do whatever they want. The only thing that we can do as parents is make sure that they're safe and they don't get entangled in some crazy stuff. So Right now, slowly, I came to realize that fine, do whatever you want, be safe, and that's all I care about as a parent. We can't do anything else, right?
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna switch gears again. Come back. We talked about it before, but I want to get into editing a little bit more. Um, I know each one of us, anybody here, nine, I don't know who does YouTube videos, but sometimes there is one video where your output is 3 minutes, but you probably spend five, if not 10. God knows how much time you spend. Arthi, I think you edit your own videos. I don't know if somebody else helped you. So, how did you go from like, did you know about editing beforehand, or did you have to learn this on the fly, try to learn? And I don't know if you mentioned, I'm also interested in knowing what software you use to do your edits.
So I only use iMovie. So when we got back from the cruise, I had no clue how to edit. I'm the Windows person. I don't know how to use Mac, right? So our role uses Mac, and he does most of his editing or Photoshop. It's all on Mac. I just use my phone editing skills. Listen, not to be honest, to use my edit pictures, to post on Instagram and Facebook. I don't use anything else. So when I got back, I learned how to use iMovie. I think it was free app, right? It was free to use.
Yeah, it came with iMac.
It came with iMac, so it was free. First of all, and also I will say it was pretty easy to use. So I watched 2 or 3 YouTube videos just to start off. Then I pretty much learned every day. Every video is learning. Like I'm going to be releasing one video on Sunday. I need to blur something. I don't know how to blur on iMovies. Like I have to YouTube right after this just to say how do I, how to do that. So every videos, I only use iMovies so far. I haven't explored anything else yet. And I learned pretty much by each videos. For example, how to put pictures in between with my anniversary videos. I didn't know that, so I YouTubed it. And someone actually said that you can just drag it and put it down. So I how to put in pictures in between, how to do captions, how to do different slide, and how to do transitions, and how to put funny cartoon videos or like pictures like that. So it looks like, and you have to get a picture that's transparent, I believe, just to edit, random things that pop up, just to make it interesting. So pretty much all the learning process. That's all I use so far. It's been good. Small things again, like that's it, right?
So I was doing photo editing before. That's how I kind of involved her to say, "Hey, use iMovie." But if it was up to me, I would. So I'm a diehard kind of like Adobe fanboy, kind of like say. So you got the Adobe Photoshop, you got the Adobe Illustrator, and all of that stuff that we're doing for photo editing. But then for video, I would have told her to use Adobe Premiere, which again, it's a lot harder to get used to because there's a lot of stuff that's going. There's a lot of noise on Adobe Premiere. So for a new user to get the gist of, hey, how do I cut a video clip? How do I transition between video clips? How do I overlap an audio with the end of the audio? All of that stuff is going to be super overwhelming. That's why I kind of told her, hey, why don't you start with iMovie? And then once you get the hang of it, probably move into Premiere, because I think Premiere is a really good editing software, only because you can do so many stuff. And then if you get yourself so advanced, you can get into Adobe After Effects. But then, yeah, we're way ahead of our game. But other than that, she's also using her phone app to create the Bitmojis. I don't know if you notice, all of our thumbnails are Bitmojis. That was my idea, by the way. So I told her that, hey, I think this is something different. I didn't see anyone use Bitmojis kind of like thing. Why don't you make all your channel Bitmojis, and then you kind of have something that looks like you. So just reuse that, and then make it so flashy that it captures the person's attention. So we spend a lot of time. Well, she does. She spends a lot of time editing the Bitmoji, figuring out which Bitmoji gets there, what titles to use, and also what's the subtitle. So there's title within the Bitmoji, and then there's title below it. And then on top of that, she's creating the descriptions, and then getting the non-copyright musics, which is quite a bit, because you got to find out what suits the scene and not just random music that just got dictated, annoying music that probably some people will be like irritated. And then she's trying to make it all smooth and everything. With, I think Casey's videos are the best. I don't know if you saw them. Casey's blog, where if you actually take a look at his videos, you see within 1 minute, there's probably 30 different transitions. That means he took video from 30 different angles for that 1 minute. And taking a video for 30 different angles around half an hour for that with just 1 minute. And that B-roll, that's the thing that I was telling Bharti, just, hey, when you start your intro or outro, try to do a B-roll. Try to have some of those little fancy stuff that you might not be there up yet, but at least that's the path to go forward. And then eventually people really like it because I'm trying to get it involved watching other vlogs that you don't know see because the last vlog that we watched it was like probably like 12 minutes and it went by like 2 minutes or something because we were so interested.
So he was reviewing the GoPro 8.
GoPro 9.
GoPro 9, sorry. So literally it was him shaving his head. Like I was so fascinated because I wouldn't know what he's gonna do next. Plugging in his shaver. And he took it so well. I was just like, like we have to learn from other people, right? Like I sit here watching movies and see, okay, my next vlog is gonna be this. Should I do like some weird things like this? How would I I will make take videos of do this. I can put this as B-roll. He did it so well. And him walking down the hill, I think for me doing like 2 shots, I'll be so tired. Like I was like, we do this again, going down the videos. I'm like, I don't want to keep doing this. It was him doing by himself, like putting the tripod and going down. Like it was, I learned from like he sends me a lot of YouTube videos, like and changing frames. I also learned that you can't just talk to the camera. People will be bored, right? You have to change.
Because you got to think of people's perceptions, right? If you're watching a video, you watch it more than 10 seconds, they get bored. So if you start flickering, if you show one angle, then you show the other angle, then you show the other angle, your brain is so activated that you're like, oh, what's going on? What's happening? You're so curious and you're triggered rather than, hey, this is boring. She's just
talk about herself or like just clothes.
Let me click out of it.
So the things I learned about them from my experience is thumbnails. Like I think like that should be catchy. Just from because when I released my 2-3 videos, I just put my picture up. Like I didn't know about it. Then I'm like, you know what? Like when I go through YouTube, thumbnail attracts me. If I said, hey, GHD hair straightener review, I look at like the person that has a nice thumbnail. I'm not gonna watch someone that has like, weird faces or something not creative. So I look for those. And I'm like, that's the same thing for me too, right? But when I do grow, like
it's like selling your product, right? If you have the best thumbnail, you can grab the audience right away. But then you have to make sure you
keep the audience.
Yeah. So they have 10, they go into a video clip, maybe 30 seconds. And if you don't grab them within 30 seconds, if you notice a lot of these good YouTubers, they ask you all these questions, who, what, where, why. And if you get that, oh, I didn't answer that question, the YouTuber, the audience will be like, hey, what did that person mean by this? Or why are they doing this? You have that curiosity spinning in your head. And then at the end of the video, you find out, oh, this is why. Or if you say, there's a lot of clickbaits too. That's another thing I didn't want to do is like do a clickbait because that pisses off the audience because they'll be like, oh, you just made me click the damn video and find out at the end, wait till the next episode. It's like Dragon Ball Z. I don't know if you guys ever watched that. So it's a Dragon Ball Z is a cartoon where one person will be like, Goku will be like in his capsule for 30 different episodes. And then on the 50th episode is when he gets out of the capsule and it's so boring. But yeah, you don't want to do that, but you want to somehow grab the audience and make them curious.
So so far is the thumbnail and the title. I put like walkthrough and then also the tags I do and also the end screen. Like I didn't know about end screen. I learned it, right? When I watch other people's videos, someone's like, oh, use the end screen. Then those are like thumbnail, title, end screen, and I would say having good content and B-roll. I'm just doing the B-rolls right now because after watching a couple YouTubers, I'm like, okay, I need to have B-roll. So I'm just getting that. Those are my stuff about editing and how to make my videos better. What I grown so far in the past 6 months. And what about you, Madan? What did you learn? Or like, did you learn something different? Do you have any other tips or like?
What do you use?
What do you use?
So for me, ever since I started, I've been stuck with the software called Filmora, which is at that time I thought it was easy, and then I've been improving with them. So for now, and I think for the foreseeable future, that app is or that program is doing what I need. But I have another PC where I do have Adobe. Brenda, my wife does a lot of picture editing. I think that's a great
I
software if
think
you
that's
want
a
to do
great
videos,
software
but
if
I
you want
think
to do
that's like
videos, but I think that's
the
like the
one of the
the
toughest one
one of the
that I ever
toughest
played
one
around
that
with,
I ever
and I
played
don't even
around with,
have
and I don't even
the
have
desire to
the
continue.
desire to
Even my
continue.
guest
And even
yesterday,
my guest
the guy is
yesterday,
extremely
the
smart, and
guy is
he's now
extremely smart, and he's
playing
now
around with it, and he's like,
playing
yeah,
around with
that
it,
thing
and
is
he's like,
not
yeah,
easy.
that thing is
So
not easy.
I stick with
So
what I
I
know,
stick with
but
what
then
I
when it comes
know,
to
but
filming,
then when
like
it
you
comes
said,
to
different
filming, like
angles,
you said, different angles,
this is a learning
this
process, and
this
I
is a
think it's
learning
still a
process,
learning
and I think it's
process.
still a learning process.
I was the type
I was the
I
type
was so eager
I
to
was so eager
push a
to
video every other
push a
day.
video every other
I
day.
didn't care about how it
I
came
didn't
out.
care
I
about
didn't
how
pay
it came
attention to a
out.
lot
I
of
didn't
it.
pay
So,
attention to a lot
but
of
then
it.
you
So,
meet
but
new
then you
people.
meet
They
new
started
people.
coaching you. They
They
give you their
started coaching you.
feedbacks.
They give you their
So now
feedbacks.
one of the
So
best thing
now
that's
one of the
working for
best thing
me,
that's working for me,
and I'm gonna continue
and I'm gonna
improving on that, is
continue
just
improving on
instead
that,
of
is
pumping
instead
videos
of
that
pumping
are
videos
not
not
great
great
quality,
quality,
take the
take the
time, do a
time, do a
good
good
edit,
edit,
put a
put a
good
good
thumbnail.
thumbnail.
Obviously,
Obviously,
that
that
plays a
plays a
role.
role.
Keywords and all
Keywords
that.
and all that.
That brings
That
your
brings
views
your
up.
views
Like
up. Like
I watch my
I watch
videos
my
very
videos
closely
very
now. I
closely
think
now. I think
me taking
me
the time
taking
to
the
do
time
all
to do
that
all
gives
that
me
gives me
the views
the
that I
views
want
that I
and the
want
hours
and
that
the
I
hours
want,
that I
and
want,
people are
and people
actually
are actually
commenting and stuff.
commenting
So
and stuff. So
I want to improve
I
on
want to
that. I'm
improve.
still working
I'm
hard
still working hard
on doing
on doing
voiceovers.
voiceovers.
If you guys ever
If
watch
you
one of
guys ever
my
watch one of
any
my
of my videos
any
where
of
I
my
did the
videos where I did
voiceover,
the
I did one
voiceover, I did
for
one for
the scenic
the
drive to
scenic drive
Austria.
to Austria.
Man, I think it's
Man, I think
terrible.
it's terrible.
Okay, my wife
Okay,
said
my
that right
wife said
away, and
that
I
right
know
away,
it,
and
but
I
I
know
just
it,
let
but
her
I
go.
just let
I'm
it
like, I don't
go.
care.
I'm like, I don't care.
But then I tried one for
But then I
the
tried
Peely
one for
Island.
the
I
Peely
got very
Island.
good
I
feedbacks,
got very
so
good
people are liking
feedbacks.
it.
So
So
people are liking
I
it.
just
So
have to
I
learn
just have to
to do
learn
it. And when
to
I
do
do
it. And
my
when I do
recordings,
my recordings,
I feel nervous.
I
I feel
feel
like
nervous.
I'm
I
writing an
feel like
exam
I'm writing an
where I have to
exam
say
where
something
I
in a
have to
certain
say
way,
something in a certain
and I
way.
don't get to
I
relax.
don't
So
get to
now I'm
relax. So
hoping
now
that
I'm
I
hoping
get to
that
relax.
I
It's not
get
the
to
end of the
relax.
world.
It's
I'm
not the end
just
of the world. I'm just,
casually talking about
casually
something.
talking about
I shouldn't
something.
stress.
I shouldn't stress.
Um, I'm working
Um,
on that.
I'm working
So
on that. So
now I decided that
now
maybe
I
I'll do
decided that
one
maybe I'll
video
do
every three
one
four
video
days.
every three,
If
4 days. If
I'm not in a mission to
I'm not
do
in a
one a
mission to
day
do
like I used
one
to,
a day like I
but
used
then
to,
I now
but
run
then
with this
I now run with
crazy
this
podcast
crazy
idea that I
podcast
came up with
idea
two
that
days
I
ago.
came up with 2 days
So
ago.
now I'm thinking,
So now I'm
I
thinking,
don't know if you guys see,
I
9 to
don't know if you
11,
guys see,
two
9
hours
to
every
11, two
day.
hours
I'm not going
every
to do on the
day.
weekends,
I'm not
but
going to do on the
I
weekends,
figured
but I
today, I'm like,
figured
dude,
today, I'm
if
like,
I were to
dude,
do something like
if I
this
were to do
every
something
day,
like
it's going
this
to
every
kill
day,
me. I
it's
have
going
no
to kill
time
me. I
left
have
to
no
do
time
any of my
left to
editing
do
work.
any of
So
my editing
I
work. So
realized that
I
this
realized
is
that
great. And I
this is
mean,
great.
there's
And I
people
mean,
joining it. I
there's people
usually have
joining it.
seven,
I
eight people
usually have
watching,
7, 8 people
and then
watching,
there's a
and then
rewatch that
there's a
happens, right?
rewatch that
So
happens,
it's
right?
good,
So
but then I'm
it's
like, if I
good, but
only
then
do
I'm like, if
this,
I only do
I don't
this,
have time to do any of
I
it.
don't have
And
time to do any of it. And
I still have videos
I
from
still
my
have
last
videos
year
from my
trip
last year
that are
trip
not edited.
that are not
And then I
edited.
have
And
Jasper.
then I
I
have
think I have like
Jasper, I think I
1.6
have like
terabytes worth of
1.6
data.
terabytes worth of
So
data.
I have
So
tons of footage,
I
and
have
then
tons of footage. And
now every
then
weekend we're still
now
doing
every
local
weekend we're still
travels.
doing local
So
travels.
I'm gonna have
So I'm gonna
way
have
more videos. So I'm like,
way
you know what?
more
Maybe I
videos.
should
So I'm like, you
stop
know what?
doing all
Maybe I
the
should
craziness,
stop doing all the craziness,
focus on one thing,
focus on
and
one
then just
thing,
spend my
and then
time
just spend
doing
my time
quality editing,
doing quality
looking for
editing,
good music,
looking
like you
for good
mentioned.
music, like you mentioned.
I tried the
I
YouTube
tried
Studio
the
Music.
YouTube Studio
In the
Music.
beginning, I was like,
In
oh
the
yeah, this is
beginning, I was like,
great.
oh
But
yeah,
then
this
over
is
time,
great. But then over
I
time,
started watching other
I started
YouTubers.
watching other
I'll ask you
YouTubers.
guys another
I'll
question
ask you guys
regarding this
another
later.
question regarding this later.
I started using their
I started
links,
using
try
their
to see
links,
the
try to
videos,
see
and I
the
find that
videos, and I
there's some
find
crazy
that there's
music
some
out there
crazy
which I
music
missed
out there
out
which
all
I
this
missed
time.
out
So
all this time.
I
So
want to
I
continue
want to continue
improving on that.
improving
Before
on
I
that.
forget my thought, I want
Before
to
I
ask
forget
you
my
guys,
thought, I want to ask you guys
well, one or two questions. The
well,
first
one or
question
two
is,
questions. The first question is,
you guys watch other
you
people,
guys
you
watch
get
other people,
motivated,
you
and
get
you
motivated,
mention
and
some
you even mentioned some names which I didn't catch. How important is it for you to watch someone else, whether it's a small YouTuber or big YouTuber or wherever they are? How much time do you spend watching? And some people that I talk to, they say, well, we don't want to spend our time wasting watching somebody else's video. Whereas I find it very beneficial. I learn a lot. So you mentioned one name. Is there anybody else that you guys follow that gives you the strength to say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna wake up and do it. And before I transition to you, I want to say get inspired by this guy named Naz Daily. This guy does 1 minute videos and he does some. My God, I watch his video. I will watch one and I'm pumped. I feel like the next year, even if my channel goes down, I don't give a damn. I'm ready to roll. Do you guys have somebody that you follow where you're like extremely impressed that you want to keep doing what you're doing?
So the thing about YouTube videos, I watch a lot of YouTube video. I think so. For us, we don't want to have cable TV. so my content is all YouTube videos. So I watch all the news on YouTube. I watch financial stuff, educational stuff, and also just comical, kind of like breather, kind of like when I'm working too hard or something. I just want to. There's one guy I think I told the about was this. His name is James. Link the video. I'm not sure if it's actual full thing, but his he goes by his name James. He started YouTube this year.
He started right after I did. So he started in April, literally right after, a week or two after
April.
me.
And he just pushed out, I think, 4 videos, and he hit around 1.5 million subscribers.
4 videos.
This guy is amazing. And if you watch his video, I watched his one video and I was super hooked because he spends a lot of time. You can tell by the video. He only puts a video like once a month or something. That's why he only has 4. And he spends so much time. And I started following him on Instagram and stuff. And I'm trying to inspire like Audrey and telling him, hey, he puts his time on scripting. He puts his time on thought process, what to do, what to say, and whatnot. And he has a mic, and he's not crazy. Like all he does is he has a camera
and he just talks,
a mic, and he just talks throughout the whole video. And really good editing, really good content, super like mind blowing. And he grew like I caught him when he was like at 150 subscribers or 150,000 subscribers, and after more videos he put out, he hit 1.5. I'm not really sure where he's at right now, but he is so amazing.
So he thinks about his content, like he just talks to the mic, and he does his research. What he's going to, he talks about like a lot of like I think a lot of stuff, other stuff. Like I was just like when I saw him, he literally started after me, and then yes, literally 4 videos where I have like 23 videos.
So that just shows you like it's quality over quantity.
That's what he was telling me, because I usually get upset, Madan, but we look at ourselves and reviews and stuff. I'm like, oh, someone left me, that's kind of bad when you're trying to grow and people leave. You notice that drastic changes, with your video. When you lost all the subscribers overnight, right? You're like trying to ask people, that for people like small people, like we notice all the huge change. So that's something he told me to watch him. He spends his time, and I watched his 2 videos. He does trailers now too for his videos. So we really have a timer on our thing. He sits here and watches it, and I watch it right after him. So he is.
Yeah, and he talks about money, the pyramid scams, all the things that are super relevant to how toxic people can get
negative people, and how to
you should probably watch his videos. It's inspiring. Not only because you get a lot of information, but the fact that when you watch his videos, you see how he's like transitioning between his voiceover to animation to video clips. And I even asked him, he had one of these live things. I asked him, hey, don't you get YouTube copyright for using these? And he says, no, if you use it for free for use or whatnot, you shouldn't be. And as long as you put the thing on. And he's been getting over 3 million views on each one of his videos. So he's caking it. And he already got his thing, I think, platinum.
No, he already did. Yeah. Then he put it up on thing too. And his voice, he also said that something I'm looking to learn. I think I asked you this personally, I think last week when we were talking about scripting, right? When you do, like, for example, when I do like videos at home, I apparently like my brother and my family, they said that I use because we don't really know. I don't really know what to say. I use a lot of that because you get nervous, right? You're talking to a camera, right? Like, now it's different. I see you, but like, when you do certain things. So when I'm, ending towards the night, I'm like, oh shit, oh, like I forgot to mention this, right? Even yesterday when we went to the Amazon Fresh, I'm like, oh, when we finished the video, when you got in the comment, oh, I forgot to mention, people were saying this. I forgot to mention this. So what I learned that I need to have, like, I kind of like on my phone have a note point, like I jot down, hey, when I do this video, I have to mention this, this, and this. So I don't forget those. So like he told me, like a lot of people, and even James on his video, he said that, he has to do a lot of script. So he writes it and then he like talks over it again and again, and he perfects it. That's what he said. His voice is so like deep too, like smoothing, it's so soothing. And when you're watching it, you're not like sitting here and being bored. He has like nice rhythmic tune to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know the guy that you watch, Madan, and he is super. I think I noticed him from Instagram. That's how I got hooked onto him too.
Yeah,
If I remember
if
correctly,
I remember
with
correctly,
Naz was
with Naz
he
was
tried YouTube, he
he
didn't
tried
like it. Then he
YouTube, he
went
didn't
on
like it,
Facebook
then
and
he
he
went
stuck
on
to
Facebook
Facebook,
and he stuck to
and then
Facebook,
he just
and then he
exploded
just
there,
exploded
and then he
there,
went on to
and then
this
he went
all the
on
other
to this
platforms.
all the
And
other platforms. And
I want to ask you guys
I
another
want to ask you
question.
guys another
So
question. So
there are so many platforms
there are
out
so
there
many
where you
platforms
can
out
get
there where
monetized.
you can get monetized.
YouTube used to be
YouTube used to be
the only player,
the
but
only
now things
player,
have
but
changed,
now
right? So
things have
there's
changed, right? So
TikTok,
there's
there's Instagram, there's all
TikTok, there's
that.
Instagram, and all that.
Why YouTube?
Why
Why
YouTube?
not Instagram, or
Why
why
not
not
Instagram, or why not
TikTok, or whatever?
TikTok, or
What
whatever?
drove you to
What
say
drove you
I'm
to
gonna go to
say
YouTube
I'm
and I'm
gonna
gonna
go to
stick to
YouTube and
YouTube?
I'm gonna
Or
stick
do
to
you guys
YouTube?
are
Or do
doing
you
it
guys
elsewhere,
are doing
which
it
I don't know?
elsewhere, which I
So
don't know?
tell me
So
why
tell me why
YouTube and not other
YouTube and
platforms. Or if
not
you're
other
doing other
platforms? Or if
platforms,
you're doing
talk to
other
me about it.
platforms, talk to me about it.
So it's YouTube because, for example, for anything, we're YouTubing everything. Like how to edit movies on iMovie. I'm not going to TikTok, or I'm not going to, Instagram and looting. I'm looking for like videos posted on Instagram or anything. Like we always been going to YouTube for anything. For example, before I went on a cruise, I'm like, oh, how to pack for cruises, right? Because like, is it going to be cold? Even though I'm going in December, but it's Mexico. Like, is it going to be hot? Is it going to be breezy? So YouTube pretty much gave me all the information. It's like Google, but you see the visual of it, right? Instagram, it's there. You can get knowledge of pictures and places, like scenic places where we can get. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Just from my view, that's what I want to go to YouTube.
But she has an Instagram account.
I do have Instagram and Facebook just because I wanted to bring up my channel.
Yeah.
For Instagram, I started off just posting my videos. Then I'm like, you know what? Let me make my grid look nicer just to show the different cases of like different pictures from California. So I started putting that and I got a couple of followers. Like I don't have a lot of followers, but it's good. Like it's on steady. So I have to make sure I keep posting pictures on that. Like I put on the story of Instagram and Arul shares it on Instagram. And Facebook page, I created it under Aarti's life just so that I can post it. People don't have, like, I do have a lot of family members and cousins that are not on Instagram. A lot of older adults that are on Facebook and stuff. So I want them to be able to see it. So that was pretty much my point.
So not to downgrade any of the other platforms, I think Vine did really good. TikTok did really good, and some of these guys actually got their subscribers from Vine or TikTok or Instagram, where they initiated the whole subscription, the followers or whatnot, club, and then made them all follow into the YouTube world. That's one thing. That's what I think, Mother. I think that's what you should probably do. Just do a cold turkey, post it on your Facebook, post it on your Instagram, and just don't look at it. I think if you're super shy or not, don't worry about it. I don't think you're doing anything wrong. You're creating content. You're actually informing people of how are things in travel and whatnot. And if I'm actually curious of, oh, hey, there's a Torontonian who actually went here, I will really want to know that, right? If you put that out there, it'll give me lots of information. And if you share it, that's really good, right? And so that's why just do a cold turkey and post it on your Facebook page. Or just ask Brenda to do it for you.
I think that
I
is
think
coming
that
pretty
is
quick.
coming
I
pretty
will be
quick.
doing it, but
I
the
will be
sad part
doing
with
it, but
me
the
is
sad part with me is
I'm not meant to
I'm
do
not
this.
meant
I
to
was
do
never
this.
into
I was
this.
never into
I
this.
have
Okay,
a
I
twin
have
brother who was
a
so
twin
much
brother
into
who was
this,
so much into this,
which I was not
which
Oh,
I
you
was
are
too
not
twin. I
supportive.
didn't even
too
know that.
supportive.
Well, I have a
Well, I
fraternal
have
twin,
a
right?
fraternal twin,
So a
right?
lot of my
So a
family
lot of my
that were in
family
this,
that were
I
in
always looked
this,
at him
I
and said,
always
"You're
looked at
not
him
doing
and
good for
said, "You're not
yourself."
doing good
So
for yourself."
I used
So
to be the type
I
that
used
was
to be the type that
mean
was
about these
mean
things,
about
and I
these
would say,
things,
"Oh,
and I would say,
what are
"Oh,
these people doing?"
what are these
So
people
I
doing?"
used to be
So I
against
used to be
this. So
against
now that
this.
I am
So
into
now that
this,
I am into this,
I am like, okay,
I am
gosh,
like,
I used to
okay,
be so
gosh, I
against it,
used to
and
be so
here I'm
against
doing
it, and
it. So
here
I'm
I'm doing it. So
scared
I'm scared
not being accepted
not being
for what I do.
accepted
So
for
that's the
what I
only
do.
thing.
So
And
that's the only thing.
you do
And
have all
you
this.
do have all this.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Sorry, what'd you say?
You said you're scared. Scared of for what though? That people might not like the videos, or
No, it's not that.
No,
My
it's not that.
biggest
My
fear
biggest
is
fear
my immediate
is my
family. Okay,
immediate
some that I'm
family.
close
Okay,
with, some
some
that I'm
that
not
I'm
close with.
close with, some that I'm
Some are
not
very
very
good.
good.
They
They
all
all
want
want
to
to
mean
mean
good
good
things
things
for
for
me
me
and
and
my
my
family,
family,
but
but
not
not
everybody's
everybody's
the
the
same,
same,
right?
right?
So
So
my
my
fear
fear
is,
is
let's
let's
say
say
there's
there's
a
a
family
family
gathering
gathering
somewhere
somewhere
where
where
I'm
I'm
not
not
there,
there,
and
and
they're
they're
gonna
gonna
say,
say,
"Look
"Look
at
at
this
this goof
goof sitting online."
sitting
So
online."
if that word comes
So if
around,
that
I
word
fear
comes
that, oh my
around, I
God, people are
fear
gonna
that, oh my
think
God,
that
people are gonna think
I'm
that
doing such a terrible
I'm
thing,
doing such a
even
terrible
though it
thing,
shouldn't bother
even
me.
though it shouldn't
But
bother me. But
I
as much as I
I,
try,
as
I
much as I
cannot
try, I
let that
cannot
go.
let that
So
go.
I'm stuck, and I'm
So I'm
like,
stuck, and I'm like,
I'm not ready yet.
I'm not
But I
ready
know the
yet.
day is
But
coming.
I know
But
the day is coming.
it's just a matter of time.
it's just a
I have
matter of
600
time.
and something
I have
videos.
600 and something
So
videos.
I've been
So
doing this for
I've been doing
some
this
time.
for
Whether it's
some
good or
time.
not,
Whether
I
it's
should
good
let
or
it.
not,
And I
I
know
should
there's
let it.
people
And
out
I know
there
there's people
that
out
are
there
too
that
curious
are
to know what
too
you're doing
curious
in
to
life
know
that
what
they
you're
will
doing in
probably go
life that they
watch
will
your
probably
stuff,
go
right?
watch your
So
stuff,
at the
right?
end of the day,
So at the end of the
you will
day,
help me.
you will help me.
which is
Yeah,
ours.
if you get even haters watching your
It's
videos,
okay, right? You get your
there's still
hours.
views, right? You're getting your hours, you're gonna get them, right? They're gonna nag you and whatnot, and I think that's where you just have to be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Just let them be them. Be the reason why they're doing it is probably because they just like their own life, and they probably don't have anything better to do. Do you know what I mean? It's not that's a mentality that you probably have to. And that's one thing that I told Ati is when she started, I told her that there's going to be a lot of people that's going to talk shit and say, "Oh, why are you doing this? Why is your hair out like this? Oh, you look so bad." Or not. That, don't let that sink to you. I think you should just be like, heck with it.
Well,
I've been
I've
saying,
been
200,
saying,
100,
200,
500.
100,
Now I'm at
500.
500.
Now I'm at
So
500.
let's see.
So
But I
let's
think
see.
it's
But
gonna
I
come
think
out
it's
soon.
going to come
Madan,
out
when we
soon.
met, like I honestly didn't know you did YouTube. Like you know that, right? We met, before we moved here. We met at Christmas parties here and there,
That's two
birthdays,
subscribers that you missed out.
right? So we didn't know any of this, and I think you reached out to Arul, right? Because Arul was like, "Oh, Madan said he does YouTube." So I didn't
Yeah.
even think about you as a Madan. I thought about that. I thought you were talking about different Madan. I'm like, Brinda Madan. I'm like, really? Like I didn't know. Like we met, we talked about other stuff about life and stuff. In person. You never ever mentioned you're into YouTube, right? I was so surprised. That's why, like, when he was talking, I'm like, oh, let me talk to him because, like, he's transferring information. I'm like, let me talk to him directly. And till this day, I'm surprised. Like, I didn't even know much about, like, I didn't even know you had a brother, like, to be honest, twin brother. Like, I knew more about Brinda because, through that. And we met and stuff. I was like, Madan does it. And when I went through the videos, like, I didn't know you spoke French, right? Even I messaged you. I'm like, I didn't know you worked here. Like, I was so surprised about, like, learning all of this. And he even said that he's like, I never knew Madan did this. I'm like, yeah, he speaks French and he does this and he has all these videos about it. So from meeting you, I don't know, we hardly met. I hardly know about you, right? Like we just met and we moved here. And in between we had our life, so we hardly met on a day on a consistent basis, more like parties, birthdays. But you took me off surprise. Like trust me, like I didn't see this. I wish we talked, when you started, then I would have encouraged me to start too when I moved here. We would have been like, okay, you know what, let's do this. But yeah. Did you have any idea that
No, you caught me off.
Uh,
When you say
I,
you had a
uh,
YouTube video, I was like, oh, okay.
I, well, I'm not
I
sure.
selectively
I
message a
selectively
few
messaged
friends
a
and
few
few
friends
colleagues
and few
where I say, hey,
colleagues
do you
where I
mind
say, hey,
subscribing?
do you
Because
mind
you
subscribing?
know this,
Because
Arti.
you know this,
Till you
Arti.
get your first
Till you
100
get your first
subscribers, your
100
obsession level
subscribers,
is
your
just
obsession
a
level is
little too
just
much,
a
right?
little too much,
You want to
right?
wake up and the
You
first
you?
thing
want
you
to
want to
wake
talk
up, and
about.
the
So
first thing you want to talk
I
about. So
approached a few
I
friends
approached a
and I
few
said, hey,
friends
I'm
and I
doing
said,
this. Can
hey,
you
I'm doing
guys
this. Can you guys
subscribe? And a lot of
subscribe?
them did.
And a lot of them did.
So,
So,
and again,
Did
and
Brinda
again,
her friends? Like I wasn't sure because like from Arul's thing, I don't think did she mention that to her friends or because I thought Arul would have known through Brinda, right? Like from your wife. So he said he didn't even know. Like he talked to Brinda about other stuff he didn't know. So I was like, oh, he's like, oh, Brinda didn't tell me.
so my
yeah.
wife actually
So
wants
my
me to
wife
say,
actually
why don't you
wants me
just
to
post it?
say, why don't
Why
you
don't you
just
just
post
post
it?
it? I'll
Why don't
share
you
it.
just
I'll
post it?
share it.
I'll
She's
share
ready
it.
to
I'll
do it,
share it.
but
She's
I'm
ready to
just
do it, but I'm
not ready.
just
But I think I'm
not
coming.
ready. But I think I'm
Like I
coming.
said, I told her I'll do
Like I
it at
said, I told her
250.
I'll
Now
do it
I'm
at
like
250.
500
Now
and
I'm like
something.
500 and something.
So it just
So it just
it's coming. It's a matter of
it's
time,
coming. It's a matter
guys.
of
I
time.
don't know if you guys
Guys,
realize
I don't know if
before
you
we
guys
start
realize
this,
before
I
we
was
start
wondering
this,
how
I
on
was
earth you're gonna
wondering
have an
how on
interesting
earth you're gonna have an
conversation
interesting conversation
for 2 hours, right?
for
You're
two
like, oh,
hours,
sometimes
right?
we're
You're
gonna
like,
run
oh,
out of stuff
sometimes
to
we're gonna
talk
run out
about.
of stuff to talk
We
about.
are like
We
10
are
minutes
like 10
to
minutes
11. So I
to
have 10
11.
people
So I
here,
have
and
10
I've
people
been doing this
here, and
sales
I've been
pitch
doing this
about,
sales pitch
hey
about,
guys, come
hey
subscribe to my
guys,
channel
come
and blah blah
subscribe to my
blah.
channel
I
and
want to
blah blah
stop
blah.
that.
I
I'm
want
gonna
to stop
pass it
that.
over
I'm
to
gonna pass it
Arti.
over to Arti.
Take some time,
Take some
talk to
time,
this audience.
talk
I
to
don't
this
know. I
audience.
think
I don't
there's
know. I think
family
there's
members here too.
family
So
members here
pitch
too.
it to
So
my
pitch it
audience. I
to
have a
my
couple people
audience.
that
I
are
have a couple
regular
of
on
people
my
that are
thing.
regular on my thing.
Pitch your channel.
Pitch your
Ask for
channel, ask
the
for
support,
the
and
support,
then
and then
while you do that,
while you
I'm
do
gonna go
that,
downstairs and
I'm
grab
gonna go
myself
downstairs
another
and grab
drink,
myself another
and
drink,
come back, and I think
and
we'll
come back,
call it
and I think
we'll
we'll
call
call
it a
it
wrap. And
a wrap.
before
And
I go,
before I
anybody
go,
here,
anybody
if you guys have any
here, if you guys
questions,
have any questions,
comments, and I know
comments, and
the
I
guy that
know
I did the
the guy
interview
that I did the
yesterday, I think
interview
he's
yesterday, I think
on the
he's
call.
on the
Uh,
call. Uh,
Another awesome guy who did
Another awesome
65
guy
plus
who did
countries, and I think
65
I
plus
already mentioned
countries,
that.
and I think
So
I already
you
mentioned
do
that.
your
So
pitch,
you do your
I'll
pitch,
come back,
I'll come
and then
back,
we'll
and then
wrap up
we'll
this
wrap up
great
this
conversation that
this
we had
great
for the day.
conversation that we had for the day.
Sure.
Sure.
Good to you.
Guys, as probably Madan said, I live in California, just started my YouTube journey. I'm just learning as I do my each videos through editing and thinking about content or anything like that. I am learning through each videos. I would really appreciate your support if you subscribe to my channel. That would show me lots of help. That would encourage me to do more videos and just keep up the adrenaline I have right now, just about thinking about content and what am I going to do next. So literally, I sit here, like when I'm working or when I'm cooking or anything like that, I'm like, what should I do next? It's next month is Halloween and Thanksgiving. Should I do anything Halloween related? And after that, it's Christmas. What video should I do? Should I do like a clothing haul? From my channel, you would see a lot of travel videos, not international, just within California, different beaches, what you would expect. For example, if you were to come to California, what beaches you would check it out. I have all of that. And if you go on a cruise, I have 7 videos relating starting from getting onto the cruise and literally getting off at each ports we did. And the other videos I do is different clothing hauls, on different stores. I go see if there's any sales or any crazy clearance they have. I go down and check from my perspective what I see around the Orange County I live in, versus it could be another county that could have better deals, but whereas my county, what I see from my end. That's all I've been doing so far. Again, really appreciate your help if you can support to my channel and help me grow the YouTube journey with all of you guys. And I would love to go through it all the comments and see. I'm not looking at any of them. I'll go ahead and check that out once we're done the live. And yeah.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
Okay, so here's my last question before we wrap this up. I forgot to check how many subscribers you had at the beginning. Can you check now and tell me if you've earned at least one?
I had 106. I think I checked before earlier
Okay.
today. Let me check. Arul's checking right now.
Oh, sorry. The
Oh,
audience
sorry.
didn't hear the
The
question.
audience
So
didn't hear the
I
question.
just
So
asked them
I
to
just
check
asked
their
them to
subscriber
check
count
their
for fun.
subscriber count for fun.
It's at the same 106.
Okay, so guys,
Okay, so guys,
I'm gonna do a
I'm
direct
gonna
appeal
do a
to
direct appeal
folks that are
to
here.
folks that are here.
Please click the
Please
description.
click the description.
Make sure you
Make
guys show
sure
some
you
love and
guys show
support.
some love and support.
I know some of you
I
will,
know
maybe
some of
not
you
right away.
will, maybe
So
not right away. So
there are some this
there are some this
crackdown from
crackdown
what is their
from
channel?
what is their
Otodumon.
channel?
Please check
Otodumon.
the
Please check
description.
the description.
Um,
Um,
I put it in the description.
I
So
put it in
if
the
you click on it,
description.
it's gonna
So
take you to
if you
their
click on
channel,
it,
and
it's gonna take you to their channel, and you
watch a
can
video and subscribe.
watch a
So
video
in
and
the last 2
subscribe.
days, there was a
So in the
massive
last 2 days,
crackdown
there
of
was a massive
this
crackdown of
people playing
this
games. So
people
a lot
playing
of people are
games. So a
afraid
lot of people
to
to
go and
go
show
and show
support.
support.
So,
So,
but
but
I
I
can
can
I can guarantee
I
you,
can guarantee you
there will be people
there will be
coming.
people coming.
And like I said,
And like I said,
I any
I
exposure is good
any exposure
exposure.
is
I
good
just at this
exposure. I
point
just
I
at
don't
this
care.
point I don't
So
care.
if
So
anybody's
if
replaying and
anybody's
watching all
replaying and
these,
watching all
there you
this,
go.
there
So
you go.
somebody just
So
mentioned
somebody just
107.
mentioned
I want to
107.
see
I
that.
want to
Come
see
on, man. I
that.
want to
Come
hit
on,
that
man. I want to
110.
hit that
So if I have
110. So if
anybody
I
on
have
my
anybody
channel,
on my
oh
channel,
please
please
Oh,
check her out.
check her out.
Um,
Um,
that's it. I'm done.
that's
I'm
it.
gonna
I'm
have my
done. I'm gonna
second
have my
drink.
second
Call it
drink.
a night.
Call it a
And
night.
I don't know
And
if
I don't know
any of
if
my guys
any of my
run their
guys
live
run
chats.
their
I
live
may just
chats. I
join
may
in
just
for
join in
fun,
for fun.
and that would be for
And
me.
that would be for
Last
me.
question.
Last question.
What's your plan for the
What's your
weekend?
plan for the weekend?
Tomorrow we're just gonna hit the San Diego area because tomorrow's my day off. So we'll just go down to enjoy the beach before the water gets too cold, because it does get cold. And if it's cold, we won't
There's
be
a
going swimming.
gliding area there.
Yeah, gliding, which I'll do a vlog about it. I'll probably just like it's not nothing to really talk about. It's just the scenic view is really amazing. I'll probably go down and do like a couple minutes video and just post that up. After that, we'll just go to the beach and yeah, that's about it. Because last week it was pretty chilly because of the air quality. We didn't really do anything, but I think it's getting a little bit clear. So we thought we'll go do it before the rain hits and the water gets too cold. He loves swimming, so I just go and sit there. So he'll be in the water most of the day, so he wants to enjoy the water before it gets too cold.
When are you coming down here, anyways?
So I'll finish off
I'll
this.
finish off this.
Me and Brenda, when
Me
we
and
found
Brenda,
out that
when we
you were
found
in
out that you were
California,
in
we planned
California, we
to actually
planned to
drive
actually
there.
drive
We actually
there. We
talked
actually
about it a
talked
lot, and
about
I
it a
think I don't
lot,
know if
and I
she
think I
even
don't know if
asked
she
you,
even
but
asked
then
you, but then
somehow the plans
somehow the
changed, and
plans
then
changed, and then
COVID-19 and
COVID
everything else
19 and
broke.
everything else broke. But
I
I
guarantee you,
guarantee you,
once this
once
whole thing
this
is
whole thing
done,
is done,
there will be a
there will
tour
be a
in
tour
California,
in
and we're
California,
definitely gonna
and we're
have to
definitely gonna come and
have a
have
great time.
a great time.
There was
There
We
was
can
few
do a
a
few.
few minutes, few.
Say that again.
Say that
YouTube
again.
collab. We can do a YouTube collaboration.
Oh, you
Oh,
bet.
you
I'm
bet.
waiting on
I'm waiting
collaboration
on
with quite a
collaboration
few
with
people.
quite a few
So
people. So
interesting stuff coming.
interesting
So
stuff coming. So
um,
um,
last few
last
things I want to
few
mention
things I want to
before
mention
we shut
before
this
we
off for the
shut
night
this off for the
is,
night is,
guys, please
please
don't
don't
forget
forget
to
to
subscribe.
subscribe.
I
I
see
see
11
11
people
people
now.
now.
I know if I
I
stay
know if
on,
I
there's
stay
more
on,
people
there's
that comes
more
on.
people
It
that
gets
comes on. It
interesting for
gets
me, but
interesting for me, but
I'm gonna stop
I'm gonna
and let
stop
them
and let
go
them
do what
go
they
do
do
what
for
they
their
do
evening.
for their
So
evening.
I
So
thank both
I thank
Arti
both
and Arul
Arti and Arul
for joining
for
me, and
joining
I'm
me,
sorry that
and
I'm
I'm
a
sorry
terrible
that I'm a
host. I'm not a
terrible
great
host. I'm not a
interviewer.
great
I
interviewer.
realize that
I
with the
realize
drink,
that with the drink,
it's not that great.
it's not
So
that great. So
any family
No,
members
any
that
family
joined,
members that joined,
thank you all.
we really
thank you
appreciate
all.
Um.
having us.
Wait.
Oh,
How come
wait.
I'm not hearing
How
you?
come I'm not
Sorry.
hearing you?
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Arti.
Go ahead, Arti. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say we really appreciate you having me and my husband just on. Yes, I really appreciate it from my end. Like
Yeah,
I'm really grateful and thank you so much. And for the audience too joining us and for the subscription, thank you especially for bringing me out. I really appreciate this exposure.
yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Madan.
I probably won't do
I
this
probably
every
won't do
day,
this every
but
day,
I
but
targeted a
I
next
targeted
guest.
a
I
next
invite
guest.
you
I
guys to come
invite you
back.
guys to
I don't
come
know,
back.
sometime
I don't know,
next week.
sometime next week.
A tour
A
guide
tour
in
guide in
Maldives that I met
Maldives
when I
that
was
I
there
met
10
when I
years
was
ago.
there 10 years
I
ago.
asked him if
I
he's willing
asked
to
him if
join
he's
my
willing to
channel and
join my
talk
channel
more.
and talk
The guy
more.
was happy
The
to
guy
do it,
was
so I'm
happy
going
to
to
do it.
target
So I'm
him
going to
and
target
a
him
few other
and a
people that
few other
I've
people
been
that I've
chatting
been
with. So
chatting with. So
hopefully I'll be doing some
hopefully I'll be
interesting
doing
people.
some
Maybe
interesting
not on a
people.
regular
Maybe not on
day,
a
but
regular
we'll
day, but
continue.
we'll continue.
Man, I really
Man,
want to
I really
stay
want to
seeing the
stay
amount of people
seeing
that
the
are
amount of
coming
people
in,
that are coming
but
in, but
I think we'll call it a
I think
night.
we'll call it a night.
Thank you all for
Thank you
joining.
all for joining.
Last but not
Last but
least,
not
show your
least,
support,
show your
subscribe to the
support,
channel.
subscribe to the channel.
Anybody
Anybody
rewatching this,
rewatching
click
this,
that description
click that
and make it
description
happen.
and
And
make it
thank you
happen.
both.
And thank you
You
both.
guys have a great
You guys
night.
have a
So
great
now I'm
night. So
gonna
now I'm
slowly
gonna
figure this out
slowly
and
figure
shut
this
it
out
down.
and shut
So
it down. So
thank you guys.
thank you
Thank
guys.
you. Bye.
Cheers.
Thanks, Madan.
Cheers.
Bye.
End stream.
End stream.
End.
End.
Whoa,
Whoa,
guys.
guys.